Up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you live 250 miles above your imagination on the International Fake Station here with my good friend Something Wong. He's my co-pilot and friend, and he keeps the bongs rolling, and he makes this whole thing possible so we can just fly around up here across the level plane and bring you some entertainment here tonight. So there's a few things I wanted to cover first tonight real quick, and then I want to get into I just saw this latest video by Will Duffy, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me, man. You got to be shitting me. Well, we'll get into it. I'm going to show you some things that kind of interesting. Because we know that we have Witchy Poo and What's His Nuts are stuck up in the International Fake Station. The other one. I wouldn't let her up here with that long ass hair. Looked like she got pubes all coming off her head. Anyway, that Boeing has been fucking up. I think this is all part of the psyop, but this is kind of interesting. This guy was found dead, after this interview, and pretty crazy. I just wanted you all to hear this. It's kind of interesting what he says. But there again, like with the psyops, I say, do real whistleblowers ever get their message out? And I mean, what the fuck good is if you kill him? He's already put out the information, right? You see what I'm getting at? They want to stop them before the information gets out. And then if it does happen to get out, if it's for real, they scrub it. We know that. The Ministry of Truth will scrub it from the fucking internet. You won't find it anymore. So I'm going to show you this real quick. And I was almost late, y'all. I was almost late. I'm going to spank myself. I was almost late. Yeah. I was arguing with somebody on Facebook about something. And, well, we've also had I've had an exchange with Will on Facebook here tonight too, and I'll share that with you too. It's kind of interesting because it exemplifies a number of points that I've had. But anyway, we're going to go over a couple of things. I want to give people time to get a notification, be able to come in. We've got, what, 65 people? Let me go through who I've got here so far too. We've got Jehovah's daughter. Barbara is here. Lovely woman. Everybody, best mod. She's like the queen of mods here. The king of mods is ZXL Master. I don't know if I see him yet. I haven't scrolled. Got GT 1982 Mustang, unindoctrinated. And he's like the Duke of moderators in here. We got David Young, Anson Howard. What's going on? What's happening? We got Chicago Cubby Bear. Let me see. Brad, Tasha. We got Justina. Let's see, Mr. Super Sidewinder. What's happening, my man? We got Ron Holtz. We got a big crowd in here. We're going on here. Eldon Bean. Having a good old time, right? LJ. Boston Guy 51. Justina. Titan Long. Who was that one? There's ZXL Master. Way up there at the beginning. I have come to save the world. Start your show. Right on, brother. Right on. You got it. You got it. We just now got that transmission. It took a little bit because of the delay. You know, there's a delay because we're up here in space and we're like floating and shit. See how I'm floating and oh my God, look at how it looks so fake. That's how you know it's real. Anyway, got psyop within a psyop. Saddle Bums here. Sean Alkey, Half Warrior. Man, oh man, David Young. And I'm sorry if there's anybody I haven't gotten to. It'd take me all night. People piling in here. We're already up to 69. 69 people in the chat right now. Watching. How many we got over on Rumble? I don't know. I have that screen utilized for something else, so I'll have to look in a moment. Anyway, let's go along here with this. And there I tried to start it on the wrong screen.
One, this is not a 737 problem. It's a Boeing problem. When I first started working at Charleston, I was in charge with pushing back defects to our suppliers. I take a group of inspectors and actually go to the supplier and inspect their product before they send it in. Well, I'd taken a team of 4 inspectors to Spirit Aerosystems to inspect the 41 section before they sent it to Charleston. And we found 300 defects. Some of them were significant that needed engineering intervention. When I returned to Charleston, my senior manager told me we had found too many defects and he was going to take the next trip. So the next trip he went on, he took 2 of my inspectors. And when they got back, they were given accolades for only finding 50 defects. So I pulled that inspector aside and I said, did Spirit really clean up their act that quick? That don't sound right. And she was mad. She said, no. Said the 2 inspectors were given 2 hours to inspect the whole 41 section and they were kicked off the airplane.
Holy shit. See, that's the thing. What they're doing, right, is it's just like with, the military can't meet its recruitment requirements, right? So they pat themselves on the back for meeting their recruitment requirements now because they lowered the requirements. I mean, it's just like,
one, this is not a
fucking clown world, man. It's crazy. I don't know if y'all are aware or not. This was really crazy. I was sitting out here in the living room earlier. The living room module of my international fake station. And wife and I were talking, and she saw something on Facebook about Mariah Carey. Her mom and her sister both died like on the same day, right? And she said that to me. I went, oh my God. I says, and we both looked at each other and said, she's going to have a fucking platinum Christmas album. Watch. because it's like that's where your mind goes, you know, when you are open, when you know this shit, it's like bang, you know. So after we said that, next thing I know, I'm seeing shit popping up all over. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that came to. Just automatically, I was like, holy crap, man. Hey, there's Dave. What's happening, Dirth? See, that bothers me because the R and the T are in the wrong place. See, I'm a stickler for that. That's one of my pet peeves. Don't pet my peeves, y'all. What's up? So, I don't know. I think it was pretty crazy. And one of the things about it too was apparently Mariah Carey's sister had talked on camera. There's video of her talking about these sacrifices and shit that they made to make Mariah famous. I'm like, oh my God. You know, all of a sudden all this shit's coming up and I'm like, man, there's more people thinking this. Or did the fucking algorithm hear me talking about that and start bringing that shit up? See, I have to question everything. So recently we had Will Duffy, I'm going to bring this up, his video on this, and we're going to go over this real quick. He's put one out since this one. Let me just go to the channel. I should have had this up, but then I got high. Let's see. There we go. I could just go to my fucking history. Well, I'd have too much shit to have to look through. All right, here we go. So let's see. Okay, so there's Dean Odle. They're talking about having Dean Odle go. Let me go to the video so I make sure I got everything. And if you don't know who Dean Odle is, Dean Odle was the guy that he's a pastor and of a church, and he had a debate. I guess it was supposed to be biblical cosmology, but I don't know. It kind of devolved into a Jerry Springer show there toward the end with Greg Locke, who is a pastor that believes that the earth is flat, much like Will Duffy. Now, the interesting thing is after Locke kicked everybody out of his church because he couldn't handle it, once a few days later or like a week later or something like that, the fucking roof caved in on his church. And I was like, oh my God, that is so whack. How does that happen? What's going on behind that? But anyway, this is about him talking about Dean Odle. It's only a 12-minute video. I'll stop it briefly here and there to make points. Or if how you doing, Jam Mangu, tonight?
Hi,
How you doing?
Doing good, doing fine. Everything all right.
Where are you coming to us from?
I'm from Austria.
Austria, awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
Vienna, near Vienna.
Yeah, Vienna. Really, I enjoy a lot of your cuisine. We have these. We have some of your sausages over here in America.
Okay, okay. hope they're doing well.
Yeah, they
Hope
come
they're
in a
doing
little
the
can.
job good.
Yeah, they
Okay,
come in a little
so
can, and you can put them on crackers and shit. Yeah, they're good for you too, boy. They're made only with the best lips and buttholes that they can get from the scraps. So, hell
perfect.
yeah.
I'm
Anyway,
doing great.
I'm going to
So,
bring up.
what's
Sorry,
your
go ahead.
own topic? Sorry, but what's your own topic?
Well, what we're going to talk about right now is a video, and there are some points in this video I wanted to look at.
This is good. It's a retard talking to. This was crazy. Phew, some people are so fucked up in the head.
Well, yeah. So this was the pastor Will Duffy, and he's talking anyway. He's the part of the final experiment thing, and I gotta put the right screen up. Hang on.
Okay, so he's trying to make the flat Earth.
No, I don't know. Are you not familiar with the final experiment?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Let's look.
Okay. All right then.
Thanks.
Let's see. Let me start it right at the beginning. Here he comes out, smiling Bob. He gets a little angry in this. I see him get a little angry, but
They're all a little crazy.
I think they're.
Hey, massive update today, which includes an update to our website, which I'll talk about at the end. I am blown away by the generosity that has come due to the final experiment. Just blown away by the generosity.
I am too. I am
Really?
blown away by the generosity too, because
Me
this
too.
ain't like just buying somebody some groceries or something, man.
No.
We're talking about big money here. I mean, a lot of money. The
Really
amount of
a lot
money
of
for one
money.
person, there's a lot of people don't even make that much a fucking year in this country.
Never.
You understand?
Never. And he would pay for everything for two people, or
Well,
for
he's
him
paying
and
for a certain amount of people. Yeah, I suggest you go back and look into it, because we're talking about months and
Okay.
months of information that we're dealing with right here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you can get caught up, see if you can get caught up, because there's a lot.
I just heard about
convoluted
him,
shit.
and he really mixes all up in the Flat Earth Society in the time.
So someone contacted me late last week, and they were someone who watched the flat earth debate last December in Nashville, Tennessee, between two pastors, Dean Odell and Greg Locke. They watched the debate, and because of something Dean Odell said on stage during the debate, they have contacted me, and they are willing to pay for Dean Odell to go to Antarctica with the final experiment this December. Completely pay for his trip.
All right. This is really getting out of fucking control now. Do I believe this story? No, I don't. Not for a fucking minute. I'd like to know really who is behind it, because people don't. So you mean to tell me? Now wait a second. You mean to tell me that somebody watched that debate that really didn't end up being so much of a debate? I mean, as it was that the fucking flat or the globe or earther pastor flipped shit and kicked everybody out of his church. That was the height.
I didn't see it, but okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going at. And it's like, okay, wait a second. So somebody watched that, and they thought that Dean Odell made enough good points on this that now you keep in mind Dean Odell is supposedly a flat earther that claimed that a 24-hour sun in Antarctica would prove the earth was a globe. I don't agree, but
he's saying that there is gonna be 24-hour sun.
Yes.
Oh God.
Okay. Now, here's the thing, and I'm going to show you why this doesn't work out real good, because in my exchange with him on Facebook today, which is still ongoing, is rather telling, okay? Because it just makes it worse. It makes it worse, to tell you the truth. But I can't see. So you got somebody who sat there and watched this on YouTube and said, you know what? I've decided that now that I've heard about this final experiment, and remembering that before this, that Dean Odell had said that was a thing, that I am going to spend $35,000 to send this guy down there. I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to do it myself and say I was inspired. No, I'm going to send him, because there's all these people with money out there that are just fucking benevolent. They don't want it. No, I'm not going to go to the food bank and help those people out or anything else like that. No, I'm going to send this guy down there just out of the benevolence of my heart. And that's like this guy. I'm just, Smiling Bob the preacher, and I really want to know. Well, no, you don't really want to know, because you're already convinced.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. And the level of your conviction and what you told me has convicted you, then why would you even have to check? All right. if you're really that fucking convicted in it. So
If you're
that's the
so
questions
sure
I have to ask.
about it, you don't have to drive. You don't have to spend so much money for it.
Well, shit, there's already fucking people down there, right? You just say, hey,
Yeah.
dude, I'll pay you. Listen, you work down there at this station? Yes, I do. Okay, I'll tell you what, man. If you can go ahead and do this, that, and the other, and I'll send you equipment because I'm a benevolent fucking rich guy. And I'll send you the camera and all that shit down there, and I'll pay you, $5,000 for you to give me a unedited time-lapse photo video of the 24-hour sun. Now, right there, look at how much we were getting it done. It had the stipulation was unedited. We have to have it unedited because we don't have any unedited ones.
No, we need unedited.
That's exactly right. So, I'm just saying this is just really, really fucking weird. I mean, we've had people in Antarctica, like I've stated before, since 1909. I don't think if they go that anybody's going to
penguins.
I don't think that if they go, they're going to see a 24-hour sun at all. But this is what I find so suspect is that there's all these people that all of a sudden this year, and it also happens to be the year that people have noticed the sun doing some fucking wonky ass shit. So not that that's connected. It could be. But I'm looking at it like, wait a second, this is the wait a minute. Yeah, I'm just gonna spend over $100,000 because I'm nice, even though I'm convinced, just to show some people that it's true. And hey, I'll tell you what, Duffy, I don't believe that Ferraris are real, man. Buy me one.
Oh, that's really
an idiot. Good God. Wow. Just because he's concerned that there's people that don't believe that there's a 24-hour sun there. I can't see it being that fucking important to anybody. And once again, I'm sorry. Yeah, we have an idea of what the sun does, but that doesn't mean we don't even know what the fucking sun is. Okay, we don't know what the sun is.
That's first true, and he should bring the proof. I mean,
well,
let's see.
You don't look at the lights in your ceiling to determine what the floor is like, man, other than to illuminate it. That's it. I mean, that's just every time. That's the first thing a fucking globetard does is when you say, why do you think the earth is a globe? And they say, well, look up in the sky. No, we're talking about the fucking thing you're standing on, dumbass. We're not talking about shit up in the sky. You don't even know what that shit is. You had some wizards make up a fucking story and say it was fact.
I had one people actually was talking, especially what you said, just about the sky and some stars. And I said, well, what makes this anything? This is not just stories, I can't say anything about it.
Well, it's like you don't even know what the stars are. You don't know what the sun is. You don't even know where the fucking sun is. Eric Dubé put out a video today on how to calculate the distance to the sun. It's pretty good. I suggest you go look at it. I suggest everybody go look at it. Anyway.
Thanks for that.
This is incredible. Now, this is a great opportunity for me to remind everybody of something. I have become this great enemy now, according to flat earthers, and I don't understand why.
Okay, first off, you're not an enemy. Okay, you're not an enemy. It's just the fact that we know that you're a con man, Will. We know you're a con man. Your record proves that you're a con man.
For sure.
Okay? So I'm like, there's nothing in it for you. It costs a bunch. See, this is the whole thing. That's what is troublesome about it. And the fact that you are so contradictory in the things that you've said about how you've come to flat earth, how you found out about flat earth. Everything you say about it is a freaking lie. You change your story all the time. First, he said he never heard of it, but he was his mentor, anti-flat Earth Bob Enyart. You was his producer. You didn't know anything about any of these arguments or anything else like that. Supposedly watched tons of flat Earth material, but couldn't even steel man a sunset for flat Earth. I mean, what? Come on, man. His excuse was, I haven't looked into it that much. Well, wait a second. If you haven't looked into it that much, how do you know so much about it when it comes to your reification of the belief?
You're right there.
See?
You're right there.
I have simply created an opportunity, equal opportunity.
Oh, there, don't forget about the equal part, equal opportunity. You know, this thing about it, always about it, free. It's free. You know, how many people accept it for free? Listen, free trips are nice. Like if you win a fucking contest or something like that, or somebody maybe you know buys it for you. But when complete strangers come out of the fucking dark offering you lavish gifts, that's suspect, man. Especially if they're going, oh, I'm just here. Don't be alarmed because I'm just Smiling Bob the preacher and shit. You know, well, how'd you become a preacher? Well, this guy died and said that I was now the preacher. Oh, okay. Well, that's how you do it. All right. Holy fucking God.
You're so right.
For both sides, flat Earth and globe, to prove their model, to prove their side. I have not stated exactly what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I've created an incredible opportunity and I have offered to pay for it. So I'm going to remind.
Now, I want you all to remember that statement he just said. Okay? I want you all to remember that statement right there. Because what did he say? He said, he says, I have not stated what will happen. I have not stated what it will be. Okay. Okay.
Flat earthers of something right now so that the hate towards me can
not
stop.
Hate, it's distrust.
And that is this. I did not come up with the idea for the final experiment. I only came up with the name and I'm willing to pay for it.
Okay, first off, Will, it's not hate. We just don't trust you, man. You're shady as fuck. And the whole premise is shady as fuck.
So what exactly is my crime? The name or the fact that I'm willing to pay for it? Again, if you don't like the name, just change it. I don't really care. Call it whatever you want. How about the final expedition? TFE. So this is a perfect opportunity to show people that it was flat earthers who came up with the idea behind the final experiment before I did, before I even came up with the name.
Okay, so a flat earther or some flat earther says that that would be definitive proof. Does that mean that it would be? Now, does that mean that that speaks for everybody? Because I'm with Lucky Haskins on this shit right here, man. Don't subscribe to anything other than what you can fucking prove. Okay? That's the whole thing right there. Keep your boots on the ground. That's it right there. And stop looking at the fucking sky. Anyway, I don't appreciate that at all, saying that, oh, you know, listen, I respect Whitsitt. I like and I respect Jaron. I respect all the people that put forth content and try to actually put out there and give information and knowledge. Okay. However, do I think Whitsitt speaks for me? No, I don't agree with everything that he says necessarily. Same thing with Jaron. Jaron doesn't represent me in my viewpoint. You know, they try to act like you're supposed to have two unified armies or something. No, we don't. All we know is that the globe is a fucking lie, and we are looking for the whole truth. That's all. It's not that hard, man. Look at here. Special guest. What's happening, Dave Weiss?
Hey.
How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing good. I've got a ton of stuff I'd like to add, but whenever let's listen for a little bit.
All right, anytime, just break in, bro.
Yeah. So
Last
first
December-
thing on his idea of a different name, he's still using the word final. That's the problem. Experiment is wrong, but the word final is wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it's like they're trying to make it like this is going to be the definitive thing.
And I will point out, a lot of us did say there is no circling sun in Antarctica, and I actually still believe that. You believe that. Jaron wholeheartedly believes that. But if there was, which there probably is, there isn't, whether they fake it or real, let's pretend there's a real one. That, as you said, it doesn't change all of the measurements of the Earth, the Knickerbocker system, mirror flashes, all the measurements, just everything. And so he's trying to hold that over our head. Like, every show he says, Dave Weiss, he said he wanted to go to Antarctica. I did. I said, if you want to prove the Earth is a globe, you have to get 2 planes in Antarctica, and then they take off in opposite directions and fly around the coast like 1,000 feet in the air so we can see how fast we're going and where we're going. And they'd have to meet over near Australia. That would prove the globe. Yeah. But that's not going to happen. He says it's not going to happen because he can't. So he thinks looking up at the lights in the sky is going to prove something. It's going to prove our understanding of the sky. That's it. Right. And you've seen that Freemason video where the guy holds the disc and he's showing the black sun in the center of the Earth. Yeah. Maybe the sky is like that. And if it is like that, maybe the southern stars are reflections of the northern stars. There's a lot of evidence that could be the case. But the thing is, and the last thing, and I'll let you get back to the video, is he says flat earthers are flip-flopping all over the place, coming up with all different excuses, and even Jaron says, that we're embarrassing ourselves by doing that. Well, we can do that because our sky is different than the heliocentric sky. We think there may be a dome up there. When there's lots of stuff. We don't know if the sun's physical, how big it is, how far it is. Right. We know that it's close, right? So all of these things leave a lot of options. Heliocentrism has a burning ball of gas in a space vacuum 93 million miles away with a spinning Earth, tilted Earth, and there is no other option. If the sun sets in Antarctica, the globe is disproven. But if the sun doesn't set, unfortunately for the globe side, it just means flat earthers don't understand the sky. It doesn't change anything else. Right.
That's well, and the thing is, I caught him in several contradictions in my discussion with him on Facebook. I'll bring those up in a few.
He said, you just brought it up. Actually, he said that he heard about flat Earth 2 or 3 years ago. And what about Bob Vineyard? I didn't even know he was his producer. I just thought he was his good friend. So that's a lie, right? And then the guy can't even straw man a friggin' sunset. And how long has he been at this? But somehow he can find a quote from Nathan Oakley from 9 years ago that I can't even find. Right? How does he have the time to find all of the stuff and not understand anything about flat Earth? Not even understand that a circling sun in Antarctica just disproves our understanding of the sky.
Well, don't you think it's awfully strange that all of a sudden this year, 2024, is the deciding? I mean, there's all he's spoken about. Candace Owens might go on this thing and he's talked about it. Kelly,
another lie,
the astronaut guy. And I'm thinking, why would the astronaut need to go there and freeze his balls off if he's already been up in space and seen it? What?
Look at he comes out of nowhere, not knowing anything about the flat Earth. His wife said, okay, you can buy 2 tickets, but not 3, because $40,000. But meanwhile, he paid $135,000 in fines so far. Or was it 235? Right. And then he has another $495,000 that could come out of his pocket. And his excuse is, oh, these are just ambulance chasers. Investments go bad. And these are just ambulance chasers trying to do a class action suit. Okay, let's pretend that is the case. And he's actually completely innocent. He still has these charges and he might have to pay those fines. So he is spending all of his time doing the final experiment, the TFE, whatever the hell he wants to call it. Right? That is not a possibility. That is not a possibility for somebody in his situation, you know.
Right.
And he wants people to believe, you know, people said he's a billionaire, and then now he's copping to, well, he's only a multimillionaire. I think the guy's broke. His credit card balance when he tried to pay for Joe effed up World's hotel when he had him down there to debate McToon, right? So there's a lot of nonsense with this guy. A lot of suspect stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Who's really behind this? Where's this money? And now all of a sudden, another anonymous, benevolent, rich guy going to pay for Dean Odell to go. What?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Now, where's all these benevolent rich people? Come on over here. I don't believe that Ferraris exist. Prove it to me by giving me one. You know, I mean, come on.
Here's the thing. Going there and observing the sun would be cool, but under the premise of it being the final experiment, when we already have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is no curvature and whatnot. You know, Austin said it in his you know, conversation with him, and there's so much more evidence. And if you look at Taboo's last video, he just listed all the times that curvature was hiding when it was needed. That these things don't change by looking at the lights in the sky. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, Dave, but this guy, this guy is disingenuous. And then he said twice in when he was talking to Austin that he's going to check with McToon and he's going to check with Fight the Fat Shirt, right? That shows zero discernment from this guy. Right? And then did you hear his last video? I think it came out today or yesterday. He said,
I just watched it,
And so now SpaceX is going to fly across Antarctica, right?
Yeah.
Which is the thing that we're saying, flying across Antarctica. SpaceX, right? You've seen the missile side, the grain silo launch that I always show on my debates, right? That shows you that it's fake. You've seen the CGI videos where the top half of the rocket disappears. You've seen enough to know that you cannot that SpaceX is fake X.
Right.
But this guy is a glober because he will never step back and say, you know what? That's interesting. I guess we can't trust SpaceX. But this is the thing. His first video a year or two or whenever it came out saying in 2024, we are going to have an experiment that is going to shut down this debate, the flat earth debate. Who's we? Right, him and his wife? You know what? I'd like to interview his wife. All right. I bet she's freaking out during this whole thing. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So he said, we, you know, who is that we?
Who's we? Right.
Yeah. Who's we? And then now on December 14th, which is, you know, a very luminous date. You know, lots of crazy events happen at beaches that, you know, in schools in Connecticut happen on that date. Just weird date. Maybe that's just a coincidence. It's near the solstice. We'll just let that one go to a coincidence. And SpaceX in December, it says they're going to fly across Antarctica. And Netflix, I think it's Netflix, is putting out a series about flat Earth families, right, in December. So this is what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to put out all of this flat Earth stuff, and all of them are going to be weak by themselves. But all of this stuff's going to come out, and people that are like, oh, I heard about this, and this about, you know, how flat Earth is stupid, and no one's going to look at any of them, and they're going to say, you know, I think that's what they're trying to do. Just throw so much crap at the wall.
Kind of like a barrage of behind the curve shit.
Yeah, a barrage of nonsense that no one, you know, it's like people are like, oh, the Tesla in space is so cool. I'm like, did you watch it? Yeah. Well, no. Did you look at any of it? No. You know, I just read the headline.
Did you hear what Elon just recently said?
About
that he wants to die in a capsule on the coast of Mars?
Yeah, that's crazy.
What?
I know. It's just to get people all riled up. I know, but this guy,
I don't think he's a genius. I think he's like a front puppet. He's exactly
totally,
a front puppet.
Totally. Come on.
Yeah.
Totally. But this guy, he puts his trust in the two shilliest, disgusting pigs on earth. He thinks that SpaceX, you know, he refuses to look at SpaceX being 100% proven fake, right? He constantly strawmans me in every video. Well, Dave Weiss, you know, refused to go, right? Yep. I refuse to go on the premise that it's called the final experiment, right? That alone, right? If he said, hey, I'm going to fund you guys to go down and let's look at the sun, and if we see a circling sun, we have to figure out what that means. Cool. That would be cool. That would be cool.
Can I point out?
Real quick, he claimed neutrality in the beginning.
Yeah, that's nonsense. Not absolute nonsense. And then the other thing is, Jaron is so confident that there's a circling sun, and I'm with him. That he's like, if there's a circling sun, the Earth is a globe. I don't think that's a real statement from him. I think that he said it because he's not worried about seeing a circling sun. And he says that matches the globe model, and he's not bothering to even think it through any farther. But let's pretend Jaron and Austin go down there. There's blue skies the entire time, and they see a perfect circling sun that never leaves their eyesight for 5 days, circles around them. Let's pretend that happens. Let's pretend that happens. And they both come back and go, I think the Earth is a globe, and I'm ignoring all of the other evidence. That is going to fire so much attention at Flat Earth that somebody's going to fund a trip, across Antarctica, around Antarctica. There's going to be so much attention that it actually might end the debate, because there'll be so many people looking at Flat Earth. So there's nothing that those two can say that would actually destroy Flat Earth. There's nothing, because the truth is the truth. A lie only lives in your mind, right? And the globe is an absolute lie. So I had one more thing. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think also a lot of times Jaron has a sense of humor, and I get it, really. I mean, that's why I like talking to him. I banter with him all the time about shit. And I think that he uses a deadpan, sarcastic type humor that is lost on people, especially on NPCs. They just don't fucking get it, man.
One other thing. So anyone that thinks that Jaron is a plant that's been here for almost a decade, planning on getting the most followers and then flipping and taking all of those followers with them, they're retarded, and they think that all of the followers are retarded, right? Because even if he did flip, which he's not going to, right? Because he's smarter than that. No one's gonna. It would just cause a huge uproar of attention. Attention's good or bad. Mark Sargent always says that, good or bad. Good publicity is better than bad publicity, but bad publicity is better than no publicity, right? But it's. Anybody that thinks that is absolutely retarded. I'm sorry, because you have no discernment if you think that's the case. If that's the case, I am a plant also, and I'm his controller. Okay, you take it. Go ahead, run with it. Right? Because there's absolutely 0.0 to the 36 power, not the 37th power, just the 36. He is. Yeah, right. If you add one more zero, maybe there's a chance.
I want to point out the TFE that this Will Duffy has on his background.
Yeah.
TFE, the flat Earth. And then he tried to change the title of it from the final experiment to the final expedition, and it still keeps the abbreviation of TFE. To me, it's interesting that he's using TFE as his
kind of like karmic relief. Oh, I told you.
There is 0% chance that he's doing this by himself. This is a big operation. I don't know what they have planned down there. I don't know. I was actually watching a most incredible, beautiful, clear sunset today. There is no chance they could fake a sun like that. Sun simulator projection. There's no possible way, in my opinion, that they could do that. So, clear skies, there's no way. I truly think that this thing will be canceled, or it'll be cloudy or whatever. But this is not just just him doing this. But one other thing, he said, a big update today. Austin, there's a Flat Earth got a point on the scoreboard because Austin interviewed him, right? Go back to his first video when he talked about the scoreboard. The way to get a point on the scoreboard, not that I give a crap about his stupid scoreboard, is anyone that interviews him from the Flat Earth side is a point for the scoreboard. Okay, so we have 2 points on the scoreboard now, right? What happened to Crumb interviewed him. Jaron interviewed him.
I did.
15. You interviewed him. The Kingdom Context interviewed him.
Ironworks
interviewed. Like all of these people interviewed him, but none of those count as points.
Nope.
His own rules say all you have to do to get a point is interview him about the final experiment. So it should be like 30-7. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I give a crap about his stupid scoreboard and the way he's, this is a real psychological operation about the way he goes, oh, coming tomorrow, there's another flat earther that had a trip paid for him, but he's turned me down and I'm going to tell you why tomorrow. Right. Shit.
Well, this whole thing is a sales pitch. And I'm looking at it. Look, I was for a time I sold timeshares, and I was one of the best at the resort. I was one of the best because I know how to use the techniques, and I'm watching this, and it's all a technique. Okay, so he's putting this thing out there like it's a big contest. We're having a big contest to see who wins, who's going to be leading. You see, it's the same little instinct in people that make you want to go faster than the car next to you. I'm not going to let that son of a bitch beat me. That same type of mentality goes down in that. A lot of the mannerisms and the way the inflections that he uses when he's speaking about.
Oh, absolutely. His inflection and his rocking back and forth. I mean, this is all crazy stuff, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this like it's is exactly as a big sales pitch. They try to make it like a big drama. See, they've got this big drama behind it. Like, who will be the next one on here? Kind of like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or some shit like that. Meanwhile, I'm going, and this is a real good point because they're all the time talking about, oh, well, Dave Weiss was offered and he turned down a free trip. I applaud the child that didn't accept the free puppy from the windowless van, because that shit is sus when people come out of nowhere and start just offering you expensive, lavish shit.
Listen, Jaron, it says, I don't care if Will Duffy is lying, if he's in on something, if he goes to jail for financial crimes, if he's paying for the trip, he can go. I get it. That makes sense. But I also think that we should all just tell this guy to fuck off, and nobody should go. Okay. Right.
Well, I'm looking at it like this, man. It's just like that's just there. There's one of two things, man. It's like, all right, like you said, it's either get canceled or it'll be cloudy or something like that. I know 100% they're not going to see a 24-hour sun.
100%.
Now, one of two things is possible if by some chance they do see a 24-hour sun. Okay. Number one, there is some fuckery about. Number two would be that there is some kind of an anomaly that we don't understand with the sun. And I'm leaning toward the first option.
Fuckery.
Yes.
Yeah, listen, we don't know that, like, some of the most advanced technology is in Antarctica. We don't know what the hell's going down there. They're putting cities in skies. Who says they can't put something bright in the sky? Again, I think there's a way around it. I think they'll get caught. I think it won't work. I think the whole thing will get canceled. I think that's the number one, the cancellation. But if they do something like that, sure. But there is zero. If the trip happens, then they're going to have fuckery, because they're not going to let this trip happen and let them see the sunset. That's not going to happen. Right. So, so there you go. And I'm looking at your chat. Some people say that I'm scared. I'm not scared. This is just stupid. And here's the thing. Will Duffy has won already because he has caused division. And that's what this is about. Right? This is all about dividing, because just like Eric Debay divided the community when the conferences started, this guy is dividing the community again because people are fighting. Jaron's a shill, Weiss is a shill. Someone in your chat just said anyone that thinks I'm legit is lost their mind or something like that. Right? Anybody that, anyone that thinks that I'm not legit, just know that you're insane. Okay? But that's, if I wasn't legit, that's what I would say anyway.
Right.
So either way, there's
well,
I really don't care
I certainly didn't get a bad vibe when I met you in person. And I have found that when I met Alex Jones, dude, you remember how when you described you meeting McToon down there at the Dean Odell thing, right?
Dude,
that was the same thing when I met
Duffy,
Alex Jones. When I met Alex Jones, I was like, his hand was all clammy, and I was like, his eyes were like, he couldn't maintain eye contact, and it was like deception.
The only person that creeped me out as much as McToon was Duffy. He came up to me, asked if he could take a selfie with me. I shook his hand, and I got the same creepy feeling, and I had no idea who he was.
Dude, he's I don't know, man. Is this whole thing? I mean, how do you get past? He was given this pastorship, and he wasn't even a minister or anything, because the guy died. Like, he's just like giving you, hey, when I die, you can have my shotgun. What? That's not how that.
Think how big of a deal the globe lie is. How big of a deal keeping the flat Earth secret is. This is the only way they stay in power is if they keep the globe lie alive. So this is bigger than all of us are even imagining. All of us. If to pull off something to trick them into seeing a circling sun costs them $100 billion, they'll spend it.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. It ain't theirs to begin with.
Right.
It ain't theirs to begin with.
It isn't real anyway. But people aren't realizing how important this lie is, how important it is. So in December, they're going to try to throw a dozen things at the world, and the world is stupid. The world has no idea. The world already believes it's a globe, and then they're going to see all of this stuff, all of these coordinated newscasts, and hey, the flat earthers went down and filmed the sun, and look, there's a series on these families that are all that are flat earthers, whether they're real flat earthers or shill families. It doesn't matter. They're going to edit it up like the other Netflix thing, and they're going to make it look really stupid. And then people, what do? People listen to the news and they watch Netflix. And that's it. That's what they're gonna believe. But it
comes from a straw man premise to begin with.
Here's the good news.
Prove that the earth
already
is flat.
Enough of us. There's already enough of us out there that if everyone just finds one person a week, it's over this year. If everyone finds one person a week and just brings them to the truth, shows them the taboo videos, shows them just the good stuff, stop all the nonsense, just shows them, ODD's 21 questions, right? Just something to bring them on board. Because once you're on board, you never get off board. You never leave, right? It's not that it's a cult. It's just the truth, right?
Yeah.
They can't stop this.
Well,
right? So if everyone...
what happens is you soon start... I've said this from the beginning, that when you realize the true nature of where you live, okay, when you realize that you're not, they've convinced the population of Earth of the complete antithesis of what it actually is. You start going, wait a second, this is bullshit too. And so is this. And oh my God. And it's like, I get people freaking out when I'm like, hey man, don't you realize with this fake assassination attempt that they pulled, this lavish stage show, right? This lavish stage show that they gave us. Both sides are playing like it was fucking real. Nobody's going, hey, Donnie, how the hell did your ear magically heal up or nothing? What does that tell you? It tells you that both sides are one side, right?
Yes. Right. And here's the thing. This world runs, the way they do it is divide. They divide us by countries, by religions, by races, by sports teams, red, blue, right? Everything. So Will's already dividing us. That's what he's doing, right? So the division is one thing. And then the other thing is they want us being pissed off. They want that loose energy, right? They want that energy, that angry energy from us, because that's what they live on, right? Yep. And if you don't understand that, you just don't understand how this world works, right? These archonic people that run the world, they need our energy. And that's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see what this demon is doing, and I am calling him a demon, that's my opinion, and I have the right to say that. He is literally a demon.
I'm not contesting it.
Yeah, he is taking people. I told him from his first email, I deleted the first email before, when he's teasing the final experiment's coming. I said, take me off your list. Never mention my name. I want nothing to do with you. That's what I said on his second email. I'm not interested in anything you're doing. And he mentions me in every show, because he needs to mention my name to try to discredit me and give credit to himself. The guy is a demon.
So I was commenting on this post right here, and this was the post that I had up here. Oh, where'd you go, Ironworks? Ironworks must be starting his show real quick. Anyway, this is somebody on Facebook said, everyone, please stop supporting the shills. If everyone unfriends, unfollows, and ignores them, there will be no controlled opposition. Who are they? In the freedom movement, they were here from day one of COVID, organizing rallies and selling merchandise. May have had TV coverage, almost a sure sign, and still selling out expensive dinners and speeches, accepting donations with no accountability. They never speak of Freemasons, trans agenda, Hollywood, media and entertainment, and most never admit the earth is flat. Moon landings didn't happen. Space is fake, with billions of stolen in taxes every day. Unfortunately, the flat earth movement, getting so close to truth, is full of shills too. There's the final experiment this December being led by fake pastor Will Duffy, and is being joined by Jaron Campanella, a famous flat earther previously believed to have been set up by Netflix in Behind the Curve. He has somehow recently lost his critical thinking ability and is now part of this new scam going to Antarctica. Now, see, that's the shit. And nobody bothering looking at everything that's involved, like Dave just put out. If we unfollow and don't watch your content, these government partnered shills will have no power to manipulate the masses. So I said that I was going to do this video tonight. And it was, this guy is a known con man, a pastor that thinks the firmament is the crust of the earth. Why? Because his mentor, Bob Enyart, said that another anti-FE. And your pastorship to Will like a property. His true colors are coming out, and a hint of fang can be seen in his fake-ass smiling Bob routine. So he came in and he says, to me, he says, if you think a 24-hour sun is possible on a flat earth, just explain how. The honest FEs, Jaron and Austin, admit it's not possible. And I said, I never said that it was possible. You did. Secondly, no one has documented this truthfully in over 100 years. If something is real, there is no need to falsify it, ever. As I said before, if, and that's a big if, a 24-hour sun is suddenly a thing, then one of two conclusions I listed before is apparent, and that was that it is either fuckery or it is an optical phenomenon, something with the sun that we don't understand yet. It's not going to throw everything away. He says, I never said that it was, and he said that there was, he said, I'm glad you agree that it's not possible, but now I need to break your heart. The 24-hour sun has been filmed and documented a ton. Well, if it's been, come on. There are more complete videos of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica than complete videos of the 24-hour sun in the Arctic on YouTube. And I said, if it's been filmed a ton and there's all this concrete proof, then why bother? There wouldn't even be a question, and we would have already known for decades. You just made your position look worse with these claims, and your motives even more suspect. You claimed you haven't looked much into it and unwits it, but also watched hours of FE material. You claimed you were neutral when this first started, but seem already convinced and have apparently seen tons of videos proving it. You are a walking example of contradictions.
Yeah, the fact that he can't even steel man a sunset shows that, like, how could he be arguing against this? It is so disingenuous. It's not even funny.
He says, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. If you make a video, make sure to deal with the arguments of this article, and I will definitely do it, is because it was about what I said about him thinking that the crust of the earth is what they're talking about, firmament, right? And I says, I'm not really concerned if you considered it or not. The point is that you cut your cover as Smiling Bob the pastor is as transparent as glass. No one drops coin like that without something in it for them. And just settling the argument is a weak-ass excuse. With bases in Antarctica now since 1909, we would have full catalog of proof for this. Secondly, simply having someone that is already there verify it with undoctored video would be even more financially prudent. Why all of a sudden is 2024 the year to decide? It's not like you're the first men on Mars or something. Personally, I don't think you're going to see a 24-hour sun, perhaps daylight, but not the sun. If for some reason this is witnessed for the first time in over 100 years, given the preponderance of evidence contrary to a globe, there is one of two things occurring. One, some fuckery is afoot, or two, there is an optical phenomenon we don't understand. I tend to lean toward the first option. You realize that none of the people you have chosen represent all the people that know Earth isn't a globe, right?
Right. I mean, the whole thing where everyone on Earth is getting shorter twilight from now until December, and then it'll get longer for everybody. That's impossible on a globe. What about, I haven't checked yet, but what at the same latitude north on June 14th, what's the temperature there? What's the weather like there? Right? Because if the sun's circling Antarctica, why is it so damn cold?
Well, there's not enough land around to be absorbing the heat. Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, good steel man. You did it. At least you know their stupid argument.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's like when they come up with this thing when, one of my big ones is you can't have volumes of gas without something to hold it in, man. Right. And they're all the time saying, well, gravity does that. And I said, well, how do you know gravity does that? And they said, well, because there's a gradient. And I said, well, can you prove that gravity causes the gradient and it's not a dispersal area of dispersal combined with temperature and composition of the mixture? That doesn't have nothing to do with it, eh? Huh? Right? It's gravity. Show me gravity pulling air down, please. And they can't do it.
People are saying, well, it disproves the AE map. No, I don't think so. If there is a circling sun down there, some sort of reflection, I think it requires a circling sun in the center to reflect out there. And Nathan Oakley, when he did his sun tracking years ago, everywhere the sun was supposed to be, it was there. I've done it with my app where I've called people in Australia and South America. I was on a radio show in South America on Johannesburg. And I said, hey, where's the sun right now? And what time is it? And because it was right over them. Because I was looking on the map and they said it's noon and it's right above us, and then I did it with my developer in India, same exact thing. So the flat Earth map has been proven as best. I mean, the circling map, the layout of the land might be a little off, but it's pretty damn accurate. It's pretty damn accurate. I think
they're fully, and as you know, any kind of a map has to actually have the approval to be a published map of some royal society or another. But the thing is, too, like with the Gleason's map, a lot of people don't understand that's not a navigational map. That is a map that is, if you read about it right there on the left-hand side, just above where at about 11 o'clock, as you're looking at the map, it says longitude and time calculator. And this is why they've got those little diagrams at the bottom showing the light distribution at both the solstice.
Well, on the circling map, the sun has to go faster in December and slower in June. Well, we have evidence that it does.
Right. It would have to, like just the same as like a 33 and a third speed RPM record, an LP. Okay. Right. The music doesn't speed up and slow down, even though the centripetal speed of going on in there is exponentially different every time it starts moving in.
Interesting analogy.
I think the same thing. It's still going the same amount of rotations.
Listen, I actually would be psyched if Austin and Jaron went. But I'd also be psyched if everyone told Will to fuck off and just, and ignored him. I can't say which one I would prefer, but I think both, there's benefits to both of them. And, those guys can make up their own minds and do whatever they want. And it'll be interesting. More data is fascinating, but it doesn't matter what is seen. Unfortunately, we can say that because the flat Earth isn't locked into, 93 million miles away sun with a tilted wobbling Earth spinning.
That's so true.
There's too much evidence going against the globe. So, everybody just needs to relax, calm down, stop thinking everyone's out to get you other than this guy will. Like the guy, we're all fighting against each other. That's the goal of this entire thing, right? And he calls it TFE, the final experiment, the final expedition. Bullshit. It's the
flat Earth.
Yeah, the flat Earth.
Yeah, I gotta say, and it's like I use your app like all the time just as a demonstrable tool, much less the videos. I love the videos that come out daily and whatnot. But I mean, I go on there and somebody will say, well, what are you talking about? Because I talk to people all the time in reality, much less out here on
we all need to do that. We all need to, like right now, everyone listening is already taken aside and knows about flat Earth. If everyone in their daily life found one person say, hey, I've been looking into this flat Earth thing. Have you ever seen this? Watch this video with me. Whatever it takes, say, the Bitcoin challenge, whatever gets their interest. It's so easy to convert people to flat Earth. All you need to do is get their attention for a short period of time. And if everybody did that, the exponential growth is insane.
Yeah, and it's great that you can go to somebody and bring up flat Earth, and it's not a crazy conversation. Some people will just come and say, yeah, I heard a little bit about that.
Yeah, but they're having a hard time finding more information. Send them to your favorite website. Send them to the app. Send them to my website. Send them wherever you want that they can find the information. Like, I watched a video today. Was it Eric DeBay's video or something? And it was good for a new person, but it didn't tell them where to go. Oh no, Nathan Oakley has been putting out shorts, and I actually a couple of his shorts popped up into my videos where he's on something like Omegle, where he's just randomly talking to people, and he's giving them great little flat Earth arguments, but then he doesn't tell them anything where to go. He doesn't tell them.
He's been getting those on TikTok.
Yeah, he's like, he should say, go watch this one specific video, just something. Send them, watch 21 questions, right?
Yeah.
Here's the link, or he gives them his channel name, but if someone goes to his channel that's just learned about flat Earth and sees what's going on there, I don't know, that's not for a brand newbie, I really don't know what goes on.
And listen, that's what I was thinking. I watched when you went on with Eddie Bravo on to Alex Jones, and I was like, oh, okay, let me check this out. And as soon as Eddie started bringing up mud flood and Tartaria and shit, I was like, oh man, don't do that, bro. Don't do that. You're already hitting first timers with something that they may think right off the bat. Their initial response is, whoa, bizarro, right? You're going to make them completely shut down if you start throwing other shit in the mix, man.
Well, here's the thing. You don't know what was happening behind the scenes. Alex didn't want to talk about flat Earth at all. So we came up with the idea of just talking about Tatari a little bit, but it actually worked because so many of his listeners came to me afterwards and, emailed me and like, hey, I watched it. I watched that film and, where can I get more information? And then I sent them to my website and then they became flat earthers. All right.
Nice.
So again, there's no perfect way to do anything. And there's a lot of ways that you're like, oh man, a second Monday morning quarterbacking, there's a better way that could have done it, but they all are effective. That interview brought tens of thousands of people to flat Earth. Okay. So, that was his highest viewed segment ever. Okay. It was amazing. Right. The timing was perfect because it was when Trump got indicted. So he had a huge following. And then we came on in the third hour and it was like the sitcom that was after the Super Bowl. Right. It's just we had the lead in and it had the highest ratings they've ever had. So God bless Alex Jones or Bill Hicks or whatever he is.
I'll tell you, man, it was weird. I met him at Bilderberg, man. And I was excited. I was excited to meet him, and then I got up close to where he was at and everything. And when I shook his hand, man, it was just like it was cold It felt clammy. I tried talking. I was talking to him for a minute, and it was like he could not. It was almost like when he was talking to me, like I see this. I don't know how else to explain it. It was like
here's the thing.
Deceptive eyes.
Here's the thing.
That's all I can say.
A lot of people used to say Mark Sargent's a shill. A lot of people still say Mark Sargent's a shill. Mark Sargent has brought more people to Flat Earth, including me, than most other people have.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, give me 10 more Mark Sargents, okay? Give me 10 more Eric Dubays, even though I don't like the guy, right?
You
I've never spoken.
You throw in some of that blue dot hot sauce, and you got a deal, bro.
Give me 10 more Sovereign. Hey, give me 10 more of you. Give me 10 more Jarens. Give me fucking 15 more Witsits. All right. You know, what I'm saying is everyone is doing their thing. Even if you don't agree, everyone is helping. So, but now we have the numbers. Go out there, everybody. Just talk. If everyone talks to one person a week, a day, forget it. We're done. They're finished.
Well,
They're
last year, Dave, toward the end of last year and on up at the first of this year, even, I had stated several times that I said we were going to see a tipping point in 2024. We are seeing that tipping point, and it's being met with mad resistance. I liken it to the final offensive that the Germans pushed on the Western Front during World War II. A lot of people remember the Battle of the Bulge, right? This was their last ditch effort to push the guys back east or back west.
The truth is the truth, and it will never change. A lie is only kept in your imagination, and they're trying to keep it in our imagination with a bunch of bullcrap. You know, the guy that was at the Vegas Flattoberfest that interviewed me, that has a huge channel that ended up trolling us. What was his name? Whatever his name.
Oliveira.
Whatever, Oliveira. He came to my house, and he was so sincere and so good, and I was very cautious, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to give him any bad sound bites, right? I'm going to give him, just show him stuff after stuff, and he's like, wow, right? And then he came to Flattoberfest. I convinced him the Earth is flat, but he just cares about his ratings because he gets, tons of views, and he saw, and so he pulled that nonsense because of ratings, but it doesn't matter. I was wrong. Like Stavely told me I don't trust the guy, and I was like, no, I think he's legit. I was wrong, right? But I got thousands of his listeners that would have never looked at Flat Earth. They're all emailing me. They're still emailing me, right? And then once they email me, I'm like, here, watch this playlist, and I send them my crash course playlist, and then they all come back and go, holy crap, this shit is real. So again, he's a shill, but it doesn't matter because he's waking up more people. He's waking up more people.
No, I've had this happen to me.
They're clever, and they're doing a good job at convincing us of just small things that convince us to be biased. It's happened to me with you. I kept believing some stuff, and now I'm starting to wonder if I was wrong just because now that I can hear you talking, you don't sound anything like that. You know what I mean? It's like, but I find myself having the same problem. You know, now that I can hear you talking, you don't sound anything like that. You know what I mean? It's like, but
you got an echo coming in, New Civil. You're gonna have to turn off YouTube.
Yeah,
there you go. Well, what I've had happen to me recently, is like I went over on the Nachikita's channel, and there was people in the chat. I was watching a show, and there's people in the chat, and there's these Upward Rising Earth people, and they're starting to grill me on shit about Upward Rising Earth, and I was like just answering questions of why I don't believe that's possible. Yeah. And I just got muted, right? But I was getting like they just come at you like you're I know. Oh, he's a witch, burn him, right? And I'm like, what the fuck, right? And one of them was Jake the Asshole, and I'm thinking to myself, you actually have that guy as one of your moderators for real? So he was getting after me because I'm on a show with THC and Jaron and now Austin, and we kind of changed the format. It's going to be a lot of fun. So join us tomorrow night. This is Tuesday, right? Is this Tuesday?
Yep. Shows tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, shows tomorrow. So, join us over on Jaron's channel at 4:20 Pacific time. That's 7:20 Eastern, and I'm not doing the math for the rest of the world, so figure it out. You know, because I'm on that show, that automatically, because he thinks that Jaren's a shill and he's all this about Jaren, that my association on that show automatically makes me guilty by association for it, when it's not been proven that that's the case at all, that he even is a shill. It's just, I've got to figure it out about Jake the Asshole. His views are mostly because he's got like a kind of Jerry Springer vibe. People tend to gravitate towards the mess, towards
he's only 3 Rogans tall.
Yeah.
He's got a small complex.
They go after, they like that shit. They like when people argue, when there's negativity and that kind of thing. And most of his videos are negativity toward whoever. People are okay with it as long as it's a globetard. But, you know, when it comes down on somebody else, it's like, no, it's just not right to begin with.
He fell for the nonsense from Cool Hard Logic, and he can't snap out of it. He can't get past it. And, you know, he doesn't understand that how we see the sun. Apparently, you know, I watched DeBay's video today, and he's right. That's how you could triangulate the sun. However, I don't think the two people 500 miles apart see the sun in the same position. I think it moves because we're seeing an apparent sun, like I show with the sheet in my room, where Paige and I are looking at the sheet, and we see it at the same time in 2 different positions. So you can't triangulate it. So you know, if you could triangulate it, like, because if we lived in a heliocentric world and you could triangulate it, then he's right. It's 2,000, you know, and change miles away, which is nowhere near 93 million. But I think it's much closer than that. That's my opinion. That's okay. Right. But the thing is, flat Earth, we can make those arguments and discussions. On globe Earth, there's only one option. Sunsets, Earth is not a globe.
Yeah, with this sun observation, somebody had brought up that Felix Baumgartner jump, and they wanted to argue about where the sun was at during that jump. Does anybody know where we can find videos of that and stuff, where we look at where that sun was at and where the apparent sun that they saw that day was?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing that. I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like I remember the moon. Obviously, it's over above Australia at the time, and yeah, I never looked into the sun at that time.
Well, hold on. That was, I think you're talking about the moon was over Australia during the Red Bull, not the Red Bull rocket launch. Not the Red Bull. The what's the rocket that hit the firmament?
Oh, the Go Fast rocket.
The Go Fast rocket. That's when
right.
That's when the moon was
My
over
bad.
Australia. You're mixing up the two.
Yes, my bad.
And I know where the sun was during that. So that way it was right over Africa, I think. Something like that.
I think in the moon was over New Zealand, wasn't it?
Yeah, Australia, New Zealand area.
Yeah, I was just curious about that observation where the sun was at when Felix made that jump, because to me it seems like when he makes it down to the earth, it's light out, so the sun's got to be close. I'm curious if we could observe that sun as he's coming down.
Well, let me tell you, I've got, and I gotta do a really earnest search for it, because I know I downloaded it, and I have this really short video. It's sped up, and what it is from the cockpit of an F-16, right from the front, and it takes off with the sun like just off to the left of where he's taking off from, just like right here. And as he's going up, you see that thing shift positions and sizes based on the medium that he's going through. Like he's going through cold areas and warmer areas and shit, and different areas where there's moisture between him and the sun and shit, obviously, because this thing is like, you'll see it here, and then he comes up through some thicker shit, and it's like, whoom, over here, just all of a sudden.
Interesting.
So the thing about, they say, well, the sun should change size, and I'm like, look, what you don't you understand? If something's already far away from you, if in relation it goes away from you, you're not going to see as much apparent size change as you will if something close up. Secondly, you have to account for Atmos opacity, right? What is that? Oh, it's word salad. No, it's not. It's a magnifying effect that's caused by the moisture in the Atmos. This is why sometimes the sun, when it sunsets, it looks fucking huge, and other times it doesn't look huge, and you get different effects every time.
Has anybody got that salad dressing out for this word salad yet?
Yeah, right.
You know what would be a simple experiment for Austin and Jaron to do is get a post, stick it in the ground, and then put a 24-hour GoPro on it, watching the shadow circle all the way around. Right? They're not going to see that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, that would
well,
be the
I
best
think
way.
one of the other problems that they are probably going to run into with that kind of thing is keeping the batteries warm. I don't know. Maybe they've got some kind of Arctic battery you can use, or
that is a huge problem. And I don't know if they have access to power. I think they're in a tent. They might have power running out to those tents. I don't know. They should actually. So if they could run a cord to it, and then I don't know. They got to make sure it stays warm enough. But what is the equivalent temperature in the north? There's all sorts of life there.
I was going to get that. I was going to say the reciprocation at the latitudes is always concerned me. And the reciprocation of flora and fauna. You should see the same degree of flora and fauna at the south as you would in the north.
Right, but they claim because no land, it doesn't have that thermal buildup, right?
Right.
It's easier to be a baller. You can just say anything you want.
Yeah, you can just make up shit. Well, that's what I was saying too. The whole idea of where the meridians they actually do spread out. Okay, trying to curve them back around has gotten people into a lot of problems. And I think it's only with the new modern GPS that they've eliminated those problems, but it's already got meridian corrections built into it, so you don't have to worry about it now.
Do you think you're as smart as like some of the smartest scientists? I would say no, Dave. I'm not, and neither are you. Eric Dollard says he thinks the sun is a transformer in counter space or another dimension. Okay. Therefore, we don't know where or what the sun is. That's it. That's a fact.
You might have a point.
Yeah.
Well, I've thought to myself too, as far as like, because I always thought, wow, it's really strange that it gets cooler as you get higher.
Yep.
And the closer you get to the sun, even though the sun's beating right on you, it's not the same. Okay. It's cooler. And I thought that's weird. You should be feeling more warmth. Heat rises, right? And then when I lived out in Death Valley, went down to Badwater, the lowest point below sea level. I think it's 280 feet below sea level, 250 feet, something like that. Anyway, it's the hottest place on earth. It's like in the coldest time in January, it's like 90 degrees there, man. Coolest it gets is maybe 78. That's it. And I'm thinking to myself, how is that working? And one day I was cooking on an induction burner. You ever use one of those?
Yeah,
I have.
Uses the magnetics, right? And the burner itself does not get hot. It's the induction between the magnetic field that causes the pan to start getting hot. And the pan is actually what gets hot and cooks the thing. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God. So moving the pan closer or further from that plate that's the induction burner caused the temperature change in the reaction to the pan.
Interesting.
And I was like, I wonder if it's a form of induction that's taking place with this thing, and it does seem to have a positive electromagnetic charge to it. I don't know. It's just shit that I've noticed and I think about.
This is all stuff that we're thinking about and looking into, and there are possibilities. The globe is the globe, and it has to obey by, a physical obstruction at a certain distance. It has to obey. It has to obey to microwaves not being able to go through the earth and reach their targets, and guiding actual planes to be able to bomb actual factories in a war successfully at night, 515 miles away. Okay, it has to keep to those rules, and it doesn't constantly
Right.
doesn't. So I am not going on this trip because for the main reason that Will is deceptive
Yeah,
and
yeah.
tenuous, and I want nothing to do with that guy. Right
Yeah,
now, if somebody came, if the other people said, "Hey, we're planning a trip to Antarctica. We're going to pay for a whole bunch of people. We're going to go at this time, and we're going to make observations and do stuff," that would be interesting. That would be interesting, you know, if I could find the time to go. But it's really not going to prove anything other than if we see a circling sun or not, which is going to tell us stuff. I don't think we're going to see one. I hope. I don't know. I don't want to say I hope they go. I kind of hope they go, but I also hope they tell them to go piss off.
Well, I think it's in this video here that a little while on, he starts getting, and this is where he's doing it. He starts chastising at the flat earthers about it, that, hey, you all were okay when Whitsitt announced that he thought about getting money together to go on a trip down to Antarctica. But then as soon as I offer to pay for it and all that other, it's no good, blah, 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 blah.
But no, because
all the hate? And my answer right straight out, it's not nobody hating on you, bro. It's just I don't trust you, man. You're the dude in the windowless van giving out free candy or puppies, man. Sorry, man. I love free candy. I love free puppies.
Also framing it as the final experiment or the final whatever. He's also saying that it's going to prove something that it doesn't prove. Therefore, that's why everyone's hating on him. And the fact that he's just an outright liar, and anyone with any senses can see that.
Well, yeah, that's a straw man to begin with, saying that it would prove that. That's like, wait a second, because some flat earthers have agreed that that would prove a globe, as he claims. That's not speaking for me, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know where you get this idea that these people
he's all excited about SpaceX crossing Antarctica. Okay. How much discernment does this guy have? Zero.
Well, if he came on, and this is, I'm going to paraphrase, but I'm very close, when they asked in an interview, you know, that, you know, well, how did you come to this final experiment? And then he talked about a good friend of mine that brought the idea and was talking to me about it. You may have heard of him. He's on YouTube and he goes by the name MC Tune. Right at the moment, man, the red flags and trumpets went bum, 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 bum. And I'm like, motherfucker, wait a second. You're a pastor, supposedly a man of God, supposed to have spiritual discernment. And you said your good friend, MC Tune, who has a win. What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, like, wait, have you seen the way that man acts? Have you seen the shit that he says about people because they don't believe in his globe? I mean, for real. And he's got like absolutely no discernment about it. He's just
script for all of them, you know. Seems like it anyway.
I don't get it. But this is, I think, right here at the part where he's starting to chastise us.
In this debate, which flat earthers were just so excited for, I was invited to watch the debate by multiple flat earthers, and I ended up attending the debate in person. I had to see it for myself and listen to what Dean Odell said from stage, and you will see that this idea of going to Antarctica and seeing whether or not there is a 24-hour sun to definitively end the debate.
Fuck you. It does not definitively end the debate. I can't stand it. Right. Goddamn.
You keep saying that. That's just so disingenuous he is.
Yeah. Well, it's a clever word magic. It's a clever word magic, because if you repeat a lie often enough and loud enough, people just take it. They just reiterate it. They'll just say it. We got people going around all the time just saying, mass attracts mass. Mass attracts mass. And I'm like, no, man, that's a myth. That's a myth. No, it's not. They said, blah, blah, blah. No, dude. Just because you've heard that, just because you were told that, and the best evidence you have of it is some janky ass 18th century shit in the 21st century. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's not going to hold water.
Yeah,
literally.
They have evidence to prove us wrong. They would have shown it already. They should show us the curve. It's that simple, but they can't do it. All they show us is now.
You know, because Will is researching all of this and probably has a team of people, he's going to hear this, but he will continue to use my name and say that I turned it down because I'm scared and it's going to ruin my grift. That's what he's saying, right? Bunch of where does he get that from? My grift. He's totally working with these guys, and it's disgusting. It literally, he disgusts me. Disgust.
Yeah. I have to agree, man. I have to agree. And it's this whole, oh man. No. I'm just sorry. The people that he's collaborated with on this already, Fight the Fat Ass and something's weird. Has anybody ever seen Brenda and McToon at the same time?
I heard that some people say that that would be funny, but I don't know. I'm just asking for a friend. I actually just hope never to see Brenda and McToon at the same time, because that just might be too much for me. Hey, Sav, I'm gonna jump out. Thanks for letting me dominate the show for a little while. But
hey, no worries, Dave. It's good to have you on.
Man. Keep it up. And anybody that thinks that I am controlled opposition, please leave a comment on one of my videos telling me so I can ban you.
Well, Dave, listen, I made a case for how ridiculous this shit actually is. Okay, I made a case I can make a case against myself that I'm an agent. Real simple, right? I was in the military. I worked in communications at headquarters, had a top secret security clearance, dealt with intelligence, CIA people, shit like that. I live about an hour to an hour and a half away from Langley in Washington, D.C. Hey, it's all right there.
Listen, I'm Jewish. I've dedicated my whole life to this. I am friends with Jaron. I support Jaron. What else? And I've grown. I have over 100,000, and I'm collecting everyone's data to give to the government with the app. Right? The app could never be so. So Dave, I'm 100% a shill.
That was one of the points I forgot to make about this tipping point about the amount of people that are getting into it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Holy crap, this was so cool. I had to turn the notifications off because it was driving me nuts. I had it set so that it would make this little pop noise. My phone would just make this little pop noise every time there was a blue dot. It would go pop, or somebody became, and I was like pop. And I was like, oh, cool. And I'd make a joke like from, and it was around just before Christmas too, because I'd go, oh, every time you hear that pop, another flat earther gets their wings. And, from It's a Wonderful Life. And then it started going pop, 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 pop. And then a couple of weeks later, that thing's pop, 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 pop. Finally, it's for all night, all day, all night. And I'm like, no, I can't do this anymore. That's enough. I'm convinced this is going to take over very soon.
It is taking over, and just wait. People like Dave's making millions of dollars. Let me tell you something. I am paycheck to paycheck with the amount of money I'm putting into this thing and the amount of time. But one day there's going to be millions and millions and millions and millions of subscribers. And you know what I'm going to do with that money? I'm going to fund a proper experiment. I'm going to do all sorts of shit. Okay,
bro. I'm going to say that.
Yeah. I'm going to do all sorts of good shit. And those people that, stand, behind the movement are all going to benefit. We're all going to benefit. So, I don't want to say it. I was going to say something about you can eat a bag of something, but
eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah, eat a bag of dicks. Yeah, there you go.
Right. You can say that here. My wife actually made bags of dicks to send to some of my subscribers. She crocheted them. They love them. Angela Baby Carson has one, and Jehovah's daughter Barbara has one.
Very nice.
And they were the all-inclusive package. There was one black one. So
well, there has to be at least one.
Hey, Dave, I got a good story for you. My son just started the first grade this year, And on the first day of class, he did find the globe, of course, first thing he found. And funnily enough, it is above the iPads in the classroom.
What do you mean above the iPads?
What do you mean that?
The class gets a set of iPads for the students to play on, do whatever activities they do with iPads.
Yeah.
And they have them, I'm guessing, on a counter or a table or something. And yeah, above this collection of iPads was the globe.
Make sure they see it. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's insane. This world is insane.
It's all good. It's great hearing my son's arguments, conversations about gravity with his classmates.
This is interesting too, Dave. There was a guy, somebody left a comment on my son's channel regarding Duffy. He said that he went to Duffy's church. The door was open. He went in, he knocked, nobody answered. He opened the door, a dog started barking. He heard guys in a back room were kind of angrily discussing something. He said a guy came out that looked like Duffy, only he didn't have the scruffy on his face. He said he could swear it was Jake the asshole. And he says, yeah, he said, I'm just here for a pamphlet. And he said, did the flat earthers send you? Real angrily like that. And he's like, no, I'm just here for a pamphlet, man. And he says, oh, and they started laughing, and he walked out.
The guy was about 4 feet tall, because if it was Jake, he's 4 feet tall.
Well, how tall's Duffy?
He doesn't look very tall.
5 something.
Oh no, you know what? I actually saw him. He's like 5'5", maybe a little taller. I don't quite remember, but I do remember him being shorter than me.
Everybody was shorter than you, Dave. You're tall, man.
Yeah, 6 feet.
How tall are you? Are you 6 foot?
I'm 6 feet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm 6 foot.
Remember that is
McToon is small too. I thought McToon was like 6'4". He's like
he's
5
a nerdy little. He's a nerdy little pig brain. He is. He's a little thing.
When I was in high school, we had a lesbian gym teacher, and I swear to God, he's a spitting image of her. I swear.
That's messed up.
Maybe it is her.
It's like first time I saw him, I was like, "What? Is that Coach Crenshaw? What?"
Hey, I got to run. Just one thing on the app. Make sure you enter your MetaMask before September, because on September 11th, the airdrop's happening for the free crypto. So find the videos on on the Flat Earth Clock App channel about how to do that, or just go in the referral section and click the dome button and just enter. It's free and it costs you nothing. No personal information is being collected. It's all anonymous, and you get free dome crypto when the airdrop happens on September 11th.
What did it say? HR Biggs 120. I guess they're commenting on where I've got this video frozen. He says that is a DUI mugshot. I would imagine it kind of looks like that. Turn to the left. Not that I know anything about that now.
I wanted to ask about that old lady you talked to that she said she learned about flat Earth when she was in school.
Yeah, Ruth. She passed away.
Yeah, that was a good story. That made me cry, bro. It really did.
That was a good one. Everyone, there's people saying that I rigged that. She's reading lines. That was literally spontaneous. It happened on the spot. It was crazy.
If somebody said that was set up, they're lying to themselves.
Yeah, well, that's set up. I'm a fucking shill. Dave's a shill. Jaron's a shill. We're all here to convert people.
People will make up their own convoluted reasons to substantiate their beliefs. It's like when I'm talking to these people that are political, they believe in this shit, and I'm like, why is nobody asking Donald Trump how his ear fucking healed up? How does an octogenarian regenerate cartilage? I mean, he couldn't heal his bone spurs, but and don't get me wrong, I'm not for one or the other. They're all adults, but they're excuses. I've heard people say, oh, they used makeup. said, oh, he had plastic surgery, right? They get mad at me for questioning it. And they come up with some of the dumbest ass excuses that to justify something that's not real. I said, don't you even care that this guy did this huge charade? Oh, you must be a liberal. No, I think that side of the fucking coin
Aren't you
is
shocked
dumb
that
too.
aren't you shocked at how many like big time truthers are out there that still think Donald Trump was attempted assassination or real assassination?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Really? Are you?
Like Stu Peters, Alex Jones, Redacted, all of these guys think it was real.
That's wild. My 84-year-old grandfather was telling me about an argument he was having with a cousin of mine about if it was Heinz ketchup or Hunt's ketchup. That's my 84-year-old grandfather.
That's a great argument.
No doubt. I mean, and the thing, and you got to think about all these little rabbit holes they give everybody to run down. Like, ooh, was there a guy on the water tower? Here's some recently just released body cam footage, you know, and all this other nonsense that they keep making up. The guy, now, did you know that the guy that was filming that and caught that still of Trump, the one that won in the election? Did you know that that was the same guy that was filming Bush reading stories to the kids when they told him about 9/11?
Yep. Yeah, that's coincidence. That's his job.
And caught a bullet in the air. Okay, we've had correspondents in war zones all around the world for many, many years. And for the first time, we've caught a bullet at full speed on film.
Dave, I'll give you one that you didn't know, just slightly different topic. On 9/11, Chopper 5 is the only chopper that filmed the second plane hitting the building from 5 miles away. Do you know who the photographer was?
Oh, don't tell me it was the same guy.
Not him. His name was something like Cy Symington. Listen to this. He's the guy that wrote the software and teaches the course on how to insert CGI aircraft into a live video feed.
Oh, no way.
He wrote the software and teaches the course on how to insert CGI aircraft into a live video feed. He's the one that caught it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. It's crazy. And for those of you that are hearing this, by the way, those of you that are hearing this that don't know that haven't looked into the Trump thing, on stoplookthink.com, there's a whole Trump assassination section. All the videos are there that you won't be able to find anymore. Stoplookthink.com. Scroll down and click the Trump bar, and all the videos are there.
Dude, I just thought of something too, because I've seen that thing where everybody in the world was seeing the same thing, right? And I saw it overlay, with like multi-screen showing the different places that we're viewing it. And in Iran, they didn't have the airplane. They don't see the airplane. There's no airplane.
Oh, no.
And I just now thought, I was like, wait a second. They got the same feed, but somehow I think they recognized and removed that overlay.
So what happened was Chopper 5 was 5 miles away. You can see all of the Hudson River off to the right in the camera. And then he zooms into the building, then all the way in, and then the plane enters the frame where where it literally, because it zoomed in on the building. But when he was zoomed out, the plane would have been over the Hudson River, and it would have been there for something like 60 frames or something, they calculated, and there was no plane there. There was no plane there at all. So again, and then later when they re-showed,
there will be now.
When they showed the other shot of the plane coming in around the back of the building, you can see the Hudson River, you can see the buildings in New Jersey, and there's no plane that hit when we first saw the explosion. Then it wasn't for 3 hours until they replayed that. And when they replayed it, all of it was grayed out. All the background was grayed out, and there was a black plane inserted into it. So bad. But again, all of that's there. We're off topic because this is a top that you guys are talking about. Duffy, I interrupted your video.
Right. You're all right, man.
I'm going to jump off, man. Peace
out.
out.
Thanks for coming up, brother.
All right. See ya.
Thanks for that, Dave. Nice talking to you.
Bye. See you. Bye.
So anyway, yeah, this is a good mugshot right here, I think. Yeah.
I love how one of his eyes looks a little bit open more than the other, and it makes him look
He's all right.
really high.
He's not fucked up. It's because of where I stopped it, y'all. Now, come on.
Over flat Earth and globe actually came from flat earthers like Dean Odell.
Did you know right now there's between 1 and 5,000 people on the continent of Antarctica? And people are like, well, NASA's there and there's these, gunny penguins that are keeping people from getting it. It's this fantastical nonsense where people have flown over it, taken pictures, people have all of these people have circumnavigated Antarctica. You can buy a cruise ticket.
All right.
You can buy a cruise ticket and go to Antarctica. And here's what's interesting.
I thought that was interesting. He got a lot of pushback, it sounded like, from the audience when he said that.
2019, the flat Earth folks were going to take a cruise to Antarctica to prove their thoughts. Nothing ever came of it.
Here, let me explain that to you.
You can fly there today.
No, you can, fly there and see the coastline. That's about all you can do. A little bit of the coastline.
Absolutely not.
Oh, yes. And if you want to go there and stay, you have to have permission from a government. Have you ever seen the amount of stuff you have to fill out to go through there?
Yes.
And also, they're not going to let you go in an expedition inland just as a me or you. They're not going to let that happen. And here's another thing. If this would be easy to prove, but they hide this from us too. All we'd have to prove is go to Antarctica. Let me and you go to Antarctica, spend a week there in the summer. And let's see if the sun does a 360-degree circle all the way around us. If so, it's a ball. But if the sun comes in this way and then leaves that way, then it's not. It is what we say it is.
So then why can't we go and just see it for ourselves?
Well, let's just see if they'll let us.
They will let us. I've already checked into it.
Right.
They'll absolutely let us.
You've already checked into it. And Duffy just happened to be there to watch this debate. He don't know any of these people, I guess. And McToon just happened to be there to watch this debate too. Okay.
Let's go.
They will absolutely let us. And not only will they absolutely let us, I've got a cattle rancher in Texas that will pay for the entire trip.
Let's do it.
Oh, is the cattle rancher in Texas the guy that is actually funding this?
Probably.
Who is this cattle rancher in Texas? See, what's with this anonymity bullshit? All these anonymous people providing vast funds of money that, come on, fuck, man.
That's the number one question right there. That's the money question.
What's
it's like who's behind the funds? Like, isn't that always the thing in truth? Is you follow the money? And,
I would be less suspect if people would be able to get together and crowdfund. And he brings up another thing in here about, everybody was fine when Whitson announced that he was going to go to Antarctica. He was going to try to get the money together and go down there. You were fine. And then as soon as he's going to pay for it, and it's like, look, dude, that's what's so suspect. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, I'm suspicious of
Ross the Bear. Besides that, he's already convinced. He said he's saw tons of videos from Antarctica showing a 24-hour sun. Well, if you're convinced, then what the fuck are you doing?
Well, see, and that's where I have to ask the question. And, that's where I'm not just, instantly calling people shills about this. But I'm like, I have to be suspicious. If he's paying for this whole trip, who's to say he's not going to, hand these supposed flat earthers $1 million or $10 million to go on this trip and then sign an NDA agreement to flip?
Listen, I don't think he's rich, bro.
Well, we don't know who it is, though.
No, I mean Duffy.
No, well, definitely not Duffy, but I'm talking about.
No, and I'll tell you another thing. I think that it's some kind of government control behind the fucking funding. I absolutely
exactly. And if it's government controlling, they have unlimited funds.
Yep.
And everybody has a price tag. Everybody has a number that will allow them to.
I don't know. I don't.
Well, I know, but but most people do.
I don't. I'll go. Why don't they send me? I don't have a price tag. I won't do it.
Well, we should
And
see if we can get you on the
If the minute you try to make a fucking deal with me about some shit, I'm blowing my fucking mouth about it.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. You know, the truth is priceless.
That's right.
Unfortunately, though, for a lot of people, they, you know, it's not that way. And a lot of people, they have stuff on people. So, like, they have stuff over their head and they can offer money. Or they don't even have to.
Not doing it.
But you want people to think that they can buy you out. Otherwise, they might decide to just crash your plane or something. You know, like, you got to be careful.
Look. Simplest answer is always usually the right one. Okay. It's not going to happen. And if it does, they're not going to see jack shit. Right. Now, like I said, and I said it to Duffy, if for some chance, for the first time in over 100 years of people being in Antarctica, somebody happens to see a 24-hour sun, okay? There's one, either some fuckery is about, or two, there's some kind of an optical effect regarding the sun that we don't understand. Is it going to make the fucking Earth a globe? No. It's what's it going to mean? It's going to mean, yeah, there's something weird with the sun that we don't understand, and we're going to have to get to the bottom of it. That's all.
I mean, we still don't know what the sun or moon is.
So there's nothing final about this dumb shit, and that's retarded to think that it is.
Simulator thing. For it. Maybe it's true.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but that's my stance on it. That's my stance. That's where I stand on it.
Anyways, I'm back to doing Instacart. I might jump back on here in a bit. I appreciate the show, though. I was hoping to get to talk to Dirth, but he already dropped off. So.
All right. Sorry, Robinson.
All right,
bro. Thanks for coming up, man.
All right. You back.
Bye.
Yes, I agree with you.
We'll fly right to Antarctica.
You stay 1 week inland. They're going to let us stay 1 week inland.
Oh, absolutely. There's people inland right now.
It doesn't get much more clear than that. I actually think Dean did a better job explaining this than I do. On the flat.
Well, yeah. I mean, after all, you know, you've looked at hundreds of, tons of flat Earth videos, but you can't steel man a flat Earth sunset at all. Not even close. You admitted that, and then blamed it on the excuse that you hadn't looked into it much. Well, motherfucker, if you're paying all that money to go into Antarctica and shit, and you haven't even looked into what the fuck the flat Earth people say, even though you said you did, well, that's a flat out goddamn lie. I mean, again, the amount of deception, it's like this guy can lie like he's just fucking praying. I don't know.
Flat Earth model, the sun should come in from the east and go out to the west and stay essentially north of you. It should never go behind you to the south, and it should never be circling overhead.
I agree.
And he said, if it circles overhead, we live on a ball, on a sphere, on a globe. But if the sun does not.
Okay. He said.
Just repeating.
He said it. I didn't say it. Okay. Dean Odell doesn't speak for me. In fact, I find some of his flat earth arguments weak. But anyway, that's just me.
Not do that. And it rises and sets to the north, essentially. Then the earth is flat. I agree with Dean Odell. I am with Dean Odell. And let's not forget robot.
Yeah, but you don't know anything about you act like you don't know anything about it. How can you agree with anything?
Polisher putting this on Twitter, on X, after the debate. He has since backed off a bit on his excitement to go to Antarctica in agreement with Dean to settle the debate. So now someone who's excited about ending the debate as well, such as myself, has offered to pay all
Wait a minute. So the only debate really is if there's a 24-hour sun. Okay, that's the debate. It's not whether the Earth is a globe or not. It's whether there's a 24-hour sun. He just admitted that.
Expenses for Dean Odell to go to Antarctica himself and represent the flat Earth side and let everybody know exactly what the sun does. And the final experiment is exactly what Dean Odell was asking for, going deep into Antarctica, not just on the shoreline or the Antarctic Peninsula. We will be right at 80 degrees south, 79 degrees, 46 minutes south, very deep into Antarctica. And he wanted to go for a...
Shouldn't even have to go that far. Should be able to see a 24-hour sun in the south at the same equal latitude as you do in the north. So you don't really have to go that far, do you? Nope. Very tip of Argentina would probably be sufficient. But what do I know? I'm just a flirt.
A number of days, not just a 24-hour period. We will be there for 5 days and 4 nights. So again, thank you so much for your generosity in being willing to pay for Dean to go. Thank you to everyone for your generosity in either offering to pay for someone to go or donating to any of the crowdfunding that is going on, which brings me to our website update. This is a super...
This is like it's some kind of a contest or some shit. See, what is this guy selling? What is he selling? Tickets to Antarctica.
Cool update. I owe it to everybody that follows TFE because I get your suggestions. When I hear a suggestion enough, I say, okay, we got to do it. So I added this page because people were losing track of who's actually going to Antarctica, who's crowdfunding, who's declined a trip, who's been offered a free trip. And so we added a new page to our website called Antarctica Bound. Check this out. It is color-coded to make it super easy to understand.
Ooh.
And you will quickly notice there is a pattern emerging. The colors quickly show you and tell you.
Look at. Let me back that up just a little bit. All right. Look how they made Dave Weiss. Okay, so right off the bat, they got him right at the top, so you make sure that you see that one.
Sure.
Okay, right off the bat, so that you can see that one. And they put it in red. See how that's, oh, that's bad. Red is bad. Declined. Free trip. Now look at, this is what it's being touted as, is a free trip. Okay. Now over here on this side, accepted a free trip. And the people that are crowdfunding are Antarctica. They're crowdfunding. Now I looked at Globey McGlobeface, and he's got just a little over $5,000 collected up so far. So I don't know. It doesn't look good, but there's time. So I don't know, Alex. So all these people are pending. Okay. So let's see.
A pattern emerging. The colors quickly show you and tell you a story. On the globe side, all you have there are people who have agreed to go to Antarctica, or who paid to go to Antarctica, or who are crowdfunding to go to Antarctica. So everybody on the globe side is either going to Antarctica or doing everything they can to get to Antarctica with us this December. You'll notice there, Dave McKeegan, he accepted a free trip. Who wouldn't accept a free trip to Antarctica?
Who doesn't want a free puppy from a windowless van?
Antarctica.
Oh my God.
I take one.
Jesus Christ. Doesn't even make any
fucking... It's like a show, really.
You've got Leonard from Australia, who self-funded. He's excited to go. He's on Team Globe. And then you've got a couple guys on the Globe side crowdfunding, Critical Think and Globey McGlobeface. Links to their GoFundMe there if you'd like to help them out. Now contrast that with the flat earth side, whose list is getting quite long. On the flat earth side so far, all we have is people either declining or free trips being offered to them that are just pending. So the offer has...
Well, maybe it's not because of, you know, that might actually be a factor, is people will be a little skeptical of a very expensive free trip, especially after seeing your track record financially. Okay? And that's where it's really at. So what does this story tell me? You've got gullible people and you've got people that use critical thinking. Also, the story, it tells me, not that it's, oh, I'm afraid to go or anything. It tells me that there's probably some of these people are going, it's not going to matter one way or the other. And I don't see you coming about with the results that you think you do. And once again, right back to what I said before, there's one of two options. So
has been made, and all they have to do is accept it. All they have to do is say yes and receive it, and then they will get to go to Antarctica without spending a dime.
All they have to do is say yes and agree to the... Yeah, they don't sound like, go ahead, sign right here. I'm just sorry. I can't. This whole thing where he's got to tout it as, oh, and make it look like these people are ridiculous. They're turning down a free trip. And I'm like,
they bring it really to the limit, you know. This is just too extreme.
Well, it's just a sales
game
pitch.
show.
All it is. It is. It's like a fucking game show type thing. It's going to attract that kind of mentality, I guess. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing with this.
Pretty cool. But there's a difference here. There's a stark contrast, and I'm hoping that this does not continue. Now, someone on this list on the Flat Earth side has declined the free trip, and I will update you on who that is this week. And I will go ahead and also update the website, changing them from orange to red. But something people said was that the final experiment would actually be a way to show who's really grifting. Again, I don't have proof as to who's grifting or not, but people seem to be right that the final experiment is exposing those who are grifting with those who are actually seeking the truth.
Wait a minute. No, it isn't. Not one whatsoever. Not whatsoever. It's not doing that at all. I think you're full of fucking owl shit, brother. And I don't make a fucking dime doing this other than from what some of my supporters will send me from time to time through Cash App or whatever. But outside of that, I don't make a fucking dime doing this. I just talk to people, man. And I just call it like I see it. And I'm seeing bullshit here, brother. I'm seeing bullshit, and I'm seeing you straw man the fuck out of things. This might be proof that who's grifting. Blah, 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 blah. Your fucking drama to yourself, bitch.
And so somebody who's going to turn down a free trip to Antarctica is likely grifting. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity that costs.
Anyway, they're likely grifting because they don't trust you.
He know now
or
when
that
it's gonna be happening.
Or that, like, what they...
Is there already a day when it's gonna happen? Or
yeah, December.
Or December. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you, guys. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah.
That,
anyway,
tens of thousands of dollars. People don't just turn something like that down. And so we now have two people on the Flat Earth side who have turned down a free trip, which means they're most likely grifting.
Whoa. No, that doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that at all. Because just like myself, there are others that know that despite the preponderance of evidence that it is not a globe, all it does is say, oh, Well, there's something happening with the sun that we're not quite understanding or familiar with. We'll have to investigate this further. Or there's some fuckery about. I'm tending to go with there'd be some fuckery about, because we've had people there for over 100 years and no legitimate documentation of this, even though Duffy says that there is, and he's apparently seen it, and he's apparently convinced that there is a 24-hour sun. So there again brings me back to, why the fuck are you paying a bunch of money so other people will know that there's a 24-hour sun, or think whatever? What the fuck? Not without a return. So I need to know, as you talk about grifts, Duffy, what the fuck is your grift? We know you're a grifter because of your financial record. We know this. So if anybody's going to recognize a grift, it should be you right off the bat. And I recognize one with you. There's something going on. You're not going to do this without some kind of fucking return. And you can't tell me it's just so that you can bring it to your little piddly ass fucking parish of a handful of people that go to your church. Come on, bro. It ain't like you Joel Olstein or anything like that. Come on.
Now, people are also telling me that they believe Jaron and Austin, Jaron of Jaronism and Austin of Wits It Gets It, are also grifting. And I think that they are going to prove you wrong. I'm in communication with them. You don't see the communication that I'm having with them. And I'm just going to tell the people on the Globe side who are accusing them of grifting, I am predicting right here in this video that they are going to prove you wrong. They're going to accept the free trip, and they are going to be turned to green here on this page of our website. So awesome. Another person might be joining us, Pastor Dean Odell, in December for the final experiment. Excited to hear everybody's responses to all of these very generous offers, as I think the more people we have.
And I also wonder, if he's got all this goddamn money, why was his wife upset for him paying for more than one ticket? You know, I mean, he told that little story too. This guy, man, he just makes shit up. This is like a second nature for him.
Have with us, the better this will be, the more fun it will be, the more eyes on everything, the more ideas they'll have, the more accountability, and all of that will make the final experiment so much better. All right, stay tuned this week for a couple of big updates, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
So that was that.
Strange.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that was the one about Dean Odell. That was the first one I saw. And then today, that one went up yesterday. And I watched it late last night. And I was like, oh my fucking God, I got to talk about this. And so then by today, now we've got this thing that he's got this. It's a scoreboard update. Austin Whitsitt brings the score to 8-3, he says. So let's see how that goes with that. And then we can just open it up and I'll talk about shit. Sounds like a wiener. Sounds like a wiener. A big old wiener. How is everybody doing tonight anyway? That's what I'm wondering. We got a lot of good people in here. We got Scott Rose joined us, autodidactic girl. I'm going to go through and look at some of this. Here's Bearsworth. Where the fuck have you been, brother? Got Crypt Rick. What's going on, my man? Let's see who else has showed up in here. New Civil Coalition is down here wanting to come up. We'll see what's up with that. It says, act like you know 26 is here. NASA, LOL, NASA speak. Good point. Let's see what else we got in here. Most people are stuck about primary school intelligence level, you know, and at a mental maturity rate of about the same place. As soon as, have you look at this fucking election bullshit, man? I look at these people acting like it's almost like a fucking food fight in an elementary school cafeteria. And these are grown adults. They think they're making decisions, you know, and they have a they're doing their part in it. They really feel like they're part of this whole fucking thing. And they get to a point of just at each other's throats and with the most childish bullshit I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just sickening. It is just sickening. We got Subi Ratios here. 2, Jay Edgerson showed up. Luke, 23 to 43. I'm your father. Who else we
Just for the masses.
Yeah, it is. It's bread and circus, bro. It is. And they added to it by playing like somebody else tried to shoot Trump too. They played that one out really nice.
That was the best shoot ever.
It was like, you guys, man, that shit was so fake. Everybody ought to know. Yeah. So how you doing tonight, Civil Coalition? What happened to the old Civil Coalition? That's what I want to fucking know. You're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Going good. I'm trying to screen share something. I did a little a piece of artwork I wanted to share with everybody if I can figure this out. So y'all give me just a second. I'm gonna get back with you. So this is the first time I've been able to speak with you. I've been watching your show forever. Me and my wife do.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome work. I finally figured this thing out. So now I can come on and kind of put my little 2 cents in.
Sure enough. Sure enough. Where are you coming from? You sound Australian.
Yeah, Holden, Louisiana. I'm a Cajun.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, Cajun. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's down here in the Cajun country. Yeah, we got them shoot guns.
Yeah. I got you. Well, we're up here.
If I can figure this out, I want to show y'all this. And how do you screen share?
Well, it's
I'm on my phone too. So
there should be a little thing down at the bottom. I don't know how it works on the phone. It says you should look for a little thing that says present and click on that, and then you can go from there.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Let me see if I can.
All right. So meanwhile, while you're figuring that out, kick back, eat some gator, and figure it out. No, and I'm going to play a little bit of this video here, and then we'll get back. As soon as you find it, it'll go pop. When you share it, it'll make a little pop noise on my side, and I'll see it down here at the bottom of the screen. I can be able to be ready to pull it up whenever. Okay. All right. Cool. Cuckoo.
Hey everyone, coming to you today with a scoreboard update. Austin Whitsitt of the YouTube channel Whitsitt Gets It is now on the scoreboard for Team Flat Earth, bringing the scoreboard to 8-3.
Gets it.
How did he get on the scoreboard? He interviewed me about the final experiment last week. That was a long-awaited interview that so many people were looking forward to. I'll go ahead and link to it down below. I highly recommend you check it out. It was a fun interview. Now, make sure you turn on the live chat replay. And then there's a setting to see all comments. The reason I think you should do that is because you will notice that a lot of flat earthers, a lot of Austin Whitsitt's, followers, supporters, fans, whatever you want to call them, were kind of giving him a hard time. They were calling him a shill, Illuminati, a Freemason, working together with me and Jaron behind the scenes, all this crazy nonsense, which Austin even pointed out is a little weird. I don't quite understand, but yeah, pretty weird behavior. Now, I'm not going to tell Austin what to do, but if I were Austin, here's what my response would be. I'd be like, hey guys, so a few months ago, when I said that I was working on putting together a trip for myself and others, other truthers, to go to Antarctica to see about this 24-hour sun, why was it that everybody was excited about it at that time? Why was it that nobody was telling me not to go to Antarctica and nobody was calling me a shill? What changed? I don't understand. What changed? The only thing that's changed is someone, namely Will Duffy, is going to be paying for my trip.
And that's where it comes into what the fuck is going on. See, I've known rich people. I've worked for rich people. I've worked with people. I've worked for people that have a hell of a lot more money than Will Duffy, and they don't do shit like this. Okay, they don't.
Just
They
leave us
don't.
alone.
Okay. In fact, many rich people are some of the worst fucking tippers that you can ever imagine.
That's
Okay,
why they have the wealth.
they're terrible. Okay, they're miserly and cheap.
No
That's the
critical
reality of it. Nobody goes like, I've got millions of dollars that I'm going to just throw about casually.
Sure.
Nobody does that. Never.
So what's the issue? If they really want him to go, but for some reason they don't want him to go with me and have his trip covered, then if I were Austin, I would tell his fans, fine, if you guys don't want me to go with the final experiment, then you pay for me. So crowdfund, raise the money.
Isn't that what he was going to do in the first fucking place? And you stalled the dog with this goddamn crazy ass show.
And then I'll just go on the same trip to the same location, Union Glacier, with the same company, Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions, and observe what the sun does. And
or he could just crowdfund and go next year or the year after that. Why is 2024 the magic year? I find that to be kind of suspect.
Maybe there's something that the sun goes a greater.
See, that's where I get to my two conclusions. Right?
They're pushing this really, you know.
It's either going to be there's some fuckery about, or there's some optical effect with the sun that we're not understanding. That's it. So I tend to go toward the first, just given the history of documentation of a 24-hour sun, verifiable and truthful documentation, not cut up videos, not ones with fake shit pasted into them. If you ever get a chance, go over to Flatworks. He's got a great video he just put out recently on the Antarctic sun and shit. Check it out. It's really good. No, Flatworks is the name of the channel.
Video it and then share it with everybody. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyway, wanted to give everybody that scoreboard update. I also want to make sure that everyone checks out our website. We have a new page. Click on the button called Antarctica Bound, and you'll see a list of both the flat Earth side and the globe side. And the most important parts are who's actually going. And so on the globe side, there's actually 3 people going: Dave McKeegan, Leonard William, and Critical Think. Critical Think is crowdfunding, and so you can support him there. Globy McGlobeface is also crowdfunding, and so you can support him there. So on the globe side, we've got 3 people confirmed, 4 people trying to go. On the flat Earth side, there's now quite a long list, and everyone on the list has had their trip paid for or covered by someone else. And you'll notice that those are all pending. They're pending because someone changes color on there once they're actually signed up and approved by ALE, Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions. And so it's just fascinating to me that there's all the
approved now
by the show.
Yeah, approved by the who? By ALE. How does that go about? You mean that you give them money, even though you're going to give them the money for the trip, you have to be approved?
No,
what's up with that, man?
So sad story.
It is, man. But anyway, it is what it is.
Okay.
These covered and comped trips waiting for just a simple yes from all of those people on the flat Earth side. we do have a decline that I will be giving an update on this week. This particular flat earther who declined gave a reason.
You mean somebody turned down a free trip?
I don't.
You're not going there for a trip. It's not like, you know.
No, I don't like to.
When you hear that, I want to say this.
Would you like to be the game changer? No, I don't like it.
What I picture in my mind when somebody says that, you know, free trip, I'm picturing like Bahama cruise, you know, going to Tahiti or something, maybe sandals or whatever. I don't see when somebody says a free trip, right? Hey, you want to go to a really, really cold place and, you know, try to stay warm in a fucking sleeping bag in sub-zero fucking weather and camp out? Doesn't that sound like fun? Yeah, it does. Wow. All right. That's why I'm saying, man, I would have just said, hey, we've already got people down there. Wouldn't it be cheaper to just say, get a hold of somebody that's already down there and say, tell you what I'll do. I'll send you the equipment to do it with. And I'll pay you $5,000 to do a 24-hour time lapse, unedited, of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Now, you telling me that somebody down there wouldn't, you know, and you get paid whether there is one or not.
Yeah.
Okay, you get paid whether there is one or not. We just want honest 24-hour footage, right? Wouldn't that be I'm sure somebody would take that. Maybe even somebody already going on the trip. Right? Maybe somebody even going on the trip already. You'd be able to, I mean, especially if I was looking at the kind of coin he might have to settle with. And I don't even know if those are all the same, all the charges that are against him either. So that's where I'm shaky on this. I'm like, when you come on deceptive, when I catch a salesman in a lie and then several other lies, and they try to backpedal to get out of those lies, I'm really going to be wary of your product. I'm like, okay, why are you so adamant on me doing this? Where the fuck is that coming from? Why are you so adamant about it and act like
the date December, you know, where it makes the biggest round on the feathers.
Yeah, I know
the date. I see it's suspicious.
Yeah. So I just have to wonder why all these people all of a sudden, you know, it's like, oh, we're going to go this year. I'd be like, hey, you know, it's not that important, man. I don't trust you. I don't know where that fucking money's coming from. I already know you're financially dirty. I want to keep my conscience clean, man. I'm going to go ahead and crowdfund that to myself. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go next year. Okay. I'm young. I got time. I'll go next year. See, putting this sense of urgency on it is very suspect to me. You know?
Yeah. So push, you know. So
I don't think what happened, man.
No,
hold on.
Make this up the whole show. You know?
So I'm trying to.
Crazy.
What happened to our guy, man? What happened? He was going to share something with us. I think he might have accidentally disconnected himself. Come on back up if you found what you wanted to share or whatnot. Damn. Act like you know, bait people into accepting a completely wrong premise. Exactly. And exactly. Bait people into accepting a completely wrong premise and a model is not reality, an approximation at best. Yes, I agree 100%. And you could see the drop in his face when I told him that last time I talked to him. I was like, that ain't going to prove the Earth's a fucking globe. You're insane. And you can see his whole attitude change. Like, what? You don't think that would be what so-and-so said it was? I don't give a fuck what so-and-so said. I'm not so-and-so. I'm not that other person. You know, I get the fuck out of here with this craziness.
Then almost as crazy as Flat Earth Dave did. And so I'll leave everybody guessing as to who that is. until I get that video out. But yeah, we're just going to keep everybody updated as to how things are progressing. I should also mention that Jaron and Austin have made requests of me in order to go that they want in writing.
Goddamn right.
And so they've both told me things that they're looking for. And so I went ahead and sent those things to my attorney, and he has drafted up an agreement, a contract for everybody to sign. And so that will be in their hands today. Hopefully they will be satisfied with that. If we need to change anything, we can. But once that's signed, we should get them signed up. And then I will go ahead and update the website and also do a video so that everyone knows. But we are getting closer and closer to the deadline. In less than 3 weeks, we will be 90 days away from the trip. So time flies. This has been a very fast moving project. Things change fast and furious in this debate and with the final experiment. And so again, I'm just going to keep everyone updated with video updates. So really important video update though, coming this week on the flat earther that has declined. I learned some things that I do think need to be shared with everyone. And so I'm going to go ahead and share those just to keep everybody, fully abreast of what's going on, who the players are involved, what they've said in the past, what they're saying now, how they've treated people in the past, just so we kind of understand exactly who we're dealing with here. So anyway, wanted to give this scoreboard update. The website will be updated shortly, and we'll see you all this week for the next update. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Gosh.
Cray, man. See there, I'm fooling
He's
myself.
really into this.
I've got this whole thing fucking switched around to where my right screen, what I used to have on my left screen, I have over on the right and vice versa. And it's kind of like trying to wipe your ass with your
I
left
heard
hand.
about it, but that it is
Crazy.
so insane. I really did.
Anyway, I got some other shit here real quick before I get off of here tonight that I wanted to go on with. This is crazy about Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, what he did.
Yeah, he said he wants to.
This silly bastard. Elon Musk.
There we go.
Elon Musk claims he wants to die off the coast of Mars after having poor cell service.
Reach the bar, underground stars, top notch, hit the
Anyway, I'll probably get a fucking copyright for that music. You get the
Yeah,
idea.
way too long. Yeah.
That's another thing that
especially
gets
from
pushed around on here.
from him. Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
I say, the best thing to do is to stick to what you can prove. What you know is demonstrably true. Okay. Once you start melding
I
off
also
into
say
stuff like
be ready for everything.
wow, man.
I guess in this event, be ready for everything.
Right. Hey, listen, Jam, thanks for coming up tonight. I really want to thank you. I'm going to let you
Yeah,
go
really
now
enjoyed
because
it.
I'm just
Really
going to talk
enjoyed
to
so-
my audience now. All right. Good night. Thanks for coming up, buddy.
Thanks. Good night.
Anyway, keep your feet on the ground, right? Like Lucky Haskins tells you, watch his shit, man. Watch his shit. They're propaganda. He did a great video about this whole psyop and what's going on with it. Okay. And it all deals with replacement. Okay. They want you to come up with replacement for their bullshit. That's what they're after. Don't do it. Make them prove their bullshit. Okay. We know that it's not a spinning, wobbling ball of water flying around through the galaxy at phenomenal speeds. Okay, we know this. That's retarded. So we can stop with that. Okay. When they come at you and they say that, oh, well, here's proof that gravity holds our air to the earth. Oh, there is there? What is that? And they say, oh, it's because there's a gradient. Yeah. Well, gravity, it's pulling on the air. Do you have any experimental data proving that air is pulled by anything, like just because it's sitting there? I mean, I've seen it pulled into a fan. I don't feel air pushing down on me. Nobody feels air pushing down on them. They feel it pushing in on them all directions. And the only reason that you would feel pressure like that, just like in a swimming pool, is because you're displacing a contained medium. In other words, that medium is restricted from going anywhere as you displace it. Therefore, it exerts a pressure against you and the containment in which it's held. That's what happens. Okay, you feel this displacement on your body, and it happens in the water. It happens here in the air. Now, if it's not a restricted medium, like a heavy rainstorm, okay, you don't feel higher pressure against your body. You do feel a downward pressure from the water, but the displacement factor is not there. You don't just become buoyant now all of a sudden because the water is, coming down in sheets. You don't start floating up into the water that's coming down, do you? No. Why? Because your displacement of that medium is not restricted. There's no effect. There's no resistance. It's the resistance to the medium is either going to cause the displacement of the medium or the buoyancy of the object. It's those two simple things right there. There's nothing. The medium is either going to displace the object or the object will displace the medium. And in order to have this effect, you must have the medium in a contained state. It's that simple. So let's see. Has anybody in chat ever been struck by lightning? No, I don't believe I have. Not a bit. What do we got going on here? 9.8 isn't acceleration. It's a flat rate. Well, it's an agreed upon rate as well, because it's been shown it's different. You get different results in different places, and it's around that. Okay, so it's not consistent. And the fact that it's not consistent is also kind of not in favor of the upward rising Earth people. 4 separate times, not 24 hours. 612, 612. What are you doing? What are y'all arguing about over here? Zorist, what is Zorist going on about? Zorist, come on up. What do you got issues about here, buddy? Search YouTube, total solar eclipse. Oh, you guys talking about an eclipse. Well, here's the thing. Here's the problem again. Is looking up in the sky to determine where you're at objects that you have no idea what the fuck they are, really where they are, or anything else about them, but you want to look up in the sky and act like you know every fucking thing about it because of some excuse that a wizard gave you. Awesome. Come on, man. You're better than that, dude. You're better than that. You got to be more intelligent than to believe that shit that they say. Why don't the shadow ratios work out? There's a problem. Hey, see, all right, Melodome. I didn't even see you in here, buddy. I wasn't looking at the chat for about the last 10 minutes. Yeah, Austin. I will be on what are we calling it now? I guess Couchlock Chronicles, which is going to be on Jaren's channel on Wednesday nights, 4:20 Pacific time, 7:20 Eastern time. And like I said before, do the all calculations yourself if you live somewhere else. And you should start listening at shit in Greenwich, GMZ. Anyway, Zulu time. We'll start listening shit at Zulu times and we'll fuck everybody. Reefer roulette. There we go. Reefer roulette. That's what it's going to be. And that's right. I had to. Man, fucking you guys was going crazy in that thing. I was trying to go to sleep last night. Your fucking messenger. We're in a group message. That thing was like ding, 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 ding. And I was like, I'll check it tomorrow. And then I forgot. And when I finally looked at it, I was like, oh my God, it's like I'm gonna have to read a book. Anyway, it's gonna be a roulette wheel, different topics on it, and then we're to discuss those topics for a prescribed period of time. And it should be a lot of fun. So just show up and check it out, have fun, let all the bullshit go, and just have a good time, man. That's what you want to do, right? And that's what that show is for, you know. And we can talk about, it's like all kinds of different conspiracy theories and bullshit like that on this wheel that we can, you know, stuff that we normally talk about. So it's going to be pretty fun, man. I think it will. So check that out tomorrow night. I can shut off the notification. Yeah. That's what I did. No, it wasn't a message thread, man. It was Messenger. It's Messenger, but that's okay. I just muted the fucking notifications. It was no worries. I just was like, oh my God, they busy now. I'm hard to tell what the fuck's going to come about from this, and usually pleasantly surprised. So that works out well. There are only 3 models of reality that explain night and day: spinning balls, helio or geocentrism, horizontal circles, pizza domeism. What is pizza domeism? No, you're fucking. You should change your name to Strawman, Swarst. You really should. You should change your name to Strawman. I really. Wow. Holy crap. Yeah. Somewhere I have email. Let me put that up real quick before I get off. I'm just gonna fuck with y'all here in the chat for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna shut it down. I think we're good here. 2.5 hours. We had like a marathon the other fucking night, and it was crazy, man. Earth has 4 corners and 2 polar rotations. What do you mean 2 polar of the luminaries in the sky? Wait a second. What? Being rendered locally to each individual. You're talking about the azimuthal grid of vision. Yeah. So yeah, I don't live on a model. Okay. I don't see any convexity. There's none to be found anywhere. So it appears to be a level topographical plane with no evidence of it being of any rotundity. And I'd have to say that I'll go as far as to say that, yes, it is contained within some kind of physical containment. Elsewise, we wouldn't be breathing air. Because up to this time, no one has been able to prove or demonstrate air being pulled. And these jokers love to talk about Cavendish, baking dish. That's what I call him, Cavendish. They love to talk about fucking Cavendish, you know. And I'm like, wait a second. You know, this is the 21st century. And the best thing you got is some 18th century janky ass contraption to verify your bullshit. Are you kidding me? And I'm sorry. Last I checked, Cavendish actually used solids and not air, not gases. So once again, I need to see the experimental data that proves that air is held by gravity. Okay. Mass attracting mass is a myth, but they just repeat it like it's some kind of a prayer chant or some shit. Mass attracts mass. No, it doesn't. That's a myth. Stop. Just stop. I see you made it back there, Civil Coalition. What happened? What happened to the old Civil Coalition, man?
I just changed my profile up, man. But I've been trying to. I do digital art, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little research on Men in Black. Do you remember the pawn the pawn shop owner.
Yeah.
Does that remind you of Duffy some? I cut him out, Sav, and I put him in front of his little FTE, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get that uploaded to you, is what it is. If
That's
I can send it to you for some way, you got to get this.
That is
yeah.
That was Tony Shalhoub.
Okay.
That played that part. Yeah, that was Tony Shalhoub. You might remember him as the Detective Monk on TV. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sure was.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, I've got him
like
cut out and on his little profile kind of background, and it is so perfect.
Right.
But I've been trying to get it to you. I don't know how to. You got an email or something?
I got an email. It's right down there in that banner going across the bottom of the screen.
All right, I'm gonna go see if I can do that real quick. You got to see this. Give me a second.
All right. Well, if I don't show it tonight before I get off, I will definitely show it on the next show. Absolutely, because I'm going to be signing off here in just a minute. I wanted to just kind of cover some of this. I've been talking to some of these jokers on Facebook, and this is the thing. When I ask them, you say, "Can you prove that your gradient is caused by gravity?" You know, that's all you have to do. You say it's caused by gravity. Well, now prove that. Well, mass attracts mass. No, that's a myth. That's a myth. Now show air being attracted to a mass. Then go ahead. Well, air has mass. Okay, if you say so.
That's right.
If you say so. I don't care. Show it being attracted to another mass. Go ahead. Anytime you're ready, I'll be there for it. And they flip the fuck out. They flip right out, man. They don't know what to do.
Well, Saab, wouldn't you say that by now it's pretty much laid out? From every experiment down to the actual last detail, they figured out. Y'all have figured it out. How they did it, when they covered it up, what they used to cover it up with. Everything's out in the forefront right now, and it's undeniable. I mean, when you get Robert Bennett on some stuff now, you seen that?
No.
Robert Bennett, yeah, he worked with Wolfgang Pauli and Einstein, a predecessor of Einstein. Said 72 years old, he's opening up the books. He's on ether cosmology now.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I think there's something to that, because, and I've said this before, that it's impossible for something to be in a mediumless environment.
Right.
There's no such thing.
Right. You're right. There's substances present.
Yeah. Every object is always subject to a medium.
That's right.
That's all.
That's all particle physics is about. It's I think I heard someone say that they're slowly crawling their way back to the ether.
Well,
slowly crawling their way back.
Whatever's going on, it is obvious that this is a created place.
Yep. Yes.
And that should be a profound thing for many people.
All right.
It really should. I mean, if you realize that someone created this place where you live, and you look at how intricate it works, how fucking awesome it actually is, and don't feel any type of appreciation or gratitude for that, there's something fucking wrong with you, man. There's something wrong with you. So that's the way I look at that one.
So I did a little research on our atmosphere. I got into I've been busy in the last 5 years. Ever since this convid came around, I've been digging and prying, so right. I think humanity's been doing that. Wouldn't you say? Like,
yeah,
we're waking up, man.
Well, and that's the problem too, is this whole thing is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because they muddy up the waters with shit.
With everything.
And this is the psyop. When you have all this replacement, Lucky Haskins talked about this today. It's like, look, it's obviously not a globe. Okay. I don't have to replace your gravity that never fucking existed in the first place. All right. I don't have to do that. All I have to do is falsify it, and I can do that with air.
Right.
Okay. I've done that already with air. Already. So level water. I mean, we have everything that's beyond a preponderance of a doubt that this is not a rotund, globular, ball-shaped, pear-shaped, whatever, any kind of fucking shape. It's a level topographical plane.
That's around right at the equator.
I mean, it's like some of the shit these people come up with. They ask me, this guy says, well, if the earth is flat, why don't hurricanes form at the equator? And I was like, I don't know. If the earth's a globe, how come cotton candy is sold at carnivals? I mean, what the fuck would that have to do with anything? I mean, they ask you some of the dumbest shit. And I'm like, well, you can't explain why? And I'm like, it doesn't have any relevance. What are you talking about? I can't explain. Are we talking about the fucking weather? Or are we talking about the condition of where you're standing?
Right. Well, they put up, what, 900 every morning and 9 in the evening of weather balloons. So,
oh, I know. They're up. There's all kinds of shit up there. And these motherfuckers think they see in satellites 300 miles away, and you can't even see a jet at 50,000 feet, man. You can't see, you can barely see an airliner at 30, 40,000 feet.
That's right.
And you think you're looking at little satellites flying around up in space hundreds of miles away. Man, these people are in such delusion. They don't even realize that, hey, man, here on Earth, when I'm pointing my camera at stuff here on the Earth, if I bring one thing into focus, other things are not in focus.
Right.
So how come is it when I zoom in and focus in on a star, the moon is focused in, every other star is focused in, and they're all supposedly all these vast distances away from each other? What? That doesn't make any damn sense. How come I can see with my naked eye visible detail and terrain on something 250,000 miles away?
That's right. You know what got me though, Saab, is not one star crosses in front of another one.
No, never has either. Never has. No stellar parallax.
It's just like that one right there is the one that made me look, as well as we travel 840 million miles a year, never to traverse the same place in the so-called galaxy, and we see the same exact stars. That's just that. Those were the two main ones. So.
Well, here's what's trippy, man. They keeping everybody focused on the fucking south.
Yeah.
When I think all the action's in the north, baby. I think that the North Pole, right there at the 0 degrees latitude, boom, right there with the big G, right? Yeah. That's where I think it's at, because look, I think that I've got a theory, an idea that shit is all projected right from there.
Do you know it's a South Pole vector? Yes.
No doubt, right?
It goes into the Earth. That's a South Pole vector. That's not a North Pole vector.
Right. Yeah. That's because of this with this, not this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, sure. That's just, and look, we've only tipped the iceberg on the way we perceive things, because once you get the whole narrative changed and you see it for what it is, the concepts just start flowing, and the whole gap that was there starts to bridge. And then you got all these different types of enlightenments that come with a natural form of energy of thought. And then things even more, the more powerful things that humanity has to offer becomes more to the forefront, I believe, honestly. You know? Just saying.
I came to that idea, man. I was like at the planetarium over here in Harrisonburg, and I was watching this shit. And I'm going, that's you can make an exact duplicate of what we're seeing in the night. Right. And when they did that, I looked at the projector. Now, have you ever seen a projector for a planetarium?
Yes, I've been to a planetarium. It's amazing.
So they tilted it to the proper declination for Polaris.
Right.
And everything else looked exactly like what we see in the night sky. And I was thinking to myself, hold the fucking phone here. What would happen if there was a bigger, because we're doing this in a little tiny place, you know, but still representing the very thing that you're in. And I'm like, what if there's actually a projector there? What if there's actually some kind of, that's where everything is being projected from? That's the core of what, like at the center of the toroid.
Right,
I don't know.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Theory.
I'm
Just
picturing.
a theory. But that idea I got about like with the sun, that I think it might be working using induction, magnetic induction.
Right.
And that when you get within a certain proximity, let's face it, I mean, down underneath, I think of it like we don't know what that barrier that they ran into down in the deep borehole is. We don't even know what the fuck the material is made out of, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking along these lines, okay? That's the induction unit. That barrier is the pan, and everything above it is just the Teflon.
Right.
Because you think about 8 miles, given the size of the earth, is really just a thin layer.
Wasn't it like some white molten plastic they found?
I don't know. I never heard that they found anything.
Yeah, they got so deep. It was this. Now, I think I heard Whitson or Jared, somebody bring up that what they hit was this white molten plastic. Like that, when you put pressure on it, it's like one of those, if you just barely smash on it, your hand will go down in it, but with the pressure, it solidifies.
Like silly putty does.
Yes. One of those things where, if you got pressure going on it, it solidifies. But if you just ease it on, you can get through it. It's got viscosity.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
So, but I even thought, 8 miles, if you think 8 miles is not really that deep given the size of the earth, right?
That's
It's like, what if whatever's down there is like the pan, everything above that's kind of like the Teflon coating on the inside of the pan.
That's right.
And, and I got to this idea when I was using my induction burner.
Okay.
To cook with, right?
Right.
And in plate, if without a rheostat, I could actually change the induction effects by the distance of the pan to the source, right? Okay. And I'm thinking, what if it kind of works that way? And the reason I thought that is because it gets cooler at higher altitudes. Right. Same sun. It gets cooler at the higher altitudes. And then when you get like down to Death Valley in California into Badwater, it's like 280 feet or 250 feet below sea level. And it's the hottest place on earth. So I don't know, just something to think about, induction as it works with the sun. I'm not claiming that or anything, but it's like, since we don't really know what the fuck the sun is, we're not really sure what the hell is happening with it. Is it actually a heat source? Or does it just produce heat?
Could it be two opposing fields colliding?
That's possible too. I don't know. But what we do know is this, okay? What we know for certain is this.
The real one.
It's not a big fusion ball of gas 93 million miles away, okay? Here's the problem with that. The problem with that is because first you have to gather together enough hydrogen gas in order for it to become anything at all. And it's not going to just stick to itself. Okay. Gas molecules don't work that way. So there's the first problem, is obtaining a mass of hydrogen. The second problem is making a mass of hydrogen collapse in on itself because of its own gravity. That'd be like you pulling yourself up through your own butthole, which, nobody can do that. All right. Like you just reach down and pull yourself right up through your own mouth, right? You could just do that. No, nobody can do that. It's just like you can't lift yourself from your bootstraps. None of that shit.
Right.
Okay. So it's not going to collapse in on itself because that, again, goes against gas behavior. So
that's right.
The heliocentric idea of a massive fucking ball of hydrogen, any goddamn thing, is stupid.
Well, I've got a very strong feeling that it's above us in something. And I think it's being seen in more than one place of more than one realm. Would you say, Sav?
That's again very, very possible. I don't know. That's one of the
that's right.
best
We can
things.
assume. I get it. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, we can, there's all kinds of assumptions, but until, and there's theories, we can have theories on it and we can talk about those theories and maybe come to an even better theory. But until we can actually hands-on, unequivocally prove, we can't really claim anything. And that's another thing that the scoreboard shows. It shows who's a critical thinker and who's not.
Exactly.
Those are the kids that would take the free puppy from the windowless van.
Sovereign. I just found out what Occam's razor is at 50. Brother, that's how much indoctrination is over. Gen X even. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what Occam's razor was. I didn't even know it was a thing. So that just tells you where we are in society. I mean, being able, a country boy from Louisiana, able to say reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction and deoxyribonucleic acid and dropped out in 8th grade. That tells you where we're going.
Well, teaching against learning. It's a Jesuit doctrine.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. And they've totally taken over the education system. They're behind the push for the globe. It all started with the Reformation, man.
That's right.
And there was a fight on about it. There was a fight on, but they, in the end, they won for a short period of time. Just for about 100 years, they've been successful, sort of. And they got really successful toward the end of their fall. And now their little empire of space and planets and all that other bullshit is crumbling right in front of them and everybody else.
Exactly. Just like the Great Reset just did. It did.
Yeah.
You know, and evidently there must be some white hats out there still, because they don't have to show their hand. And I'll tell you one thing, if there wasn't, we would still be locked down and afraid of the air, Sav.
Swartz is asking, says, but why won't you reach out and interview the people that have recorded the 24-hour sun? Well, one of them was reached out to, and they admitted that it was fake, that the video they shot was fake. But good luck getting a hold of any of these people that have done this. You're never going to get a response from them.
That's right. You won't. But wouldn't you say, and I think you stand firm on this, Sav, when you say, like, in 60-something years, we've got maybe hundreds of the one in the north, and not one of the south. There should be the same amount. That's using Occam's razor right there. So you should know.
Well, it's like on his Facebook post over here. You know, because I said that about this was, I'm going to show this again. We've had some other people show up.
Go ahead.
I'm going to take this down and share up here. So this was me basically on a post about Duffy, and I said I'm going to do a breakdown on Duffy's latest video regarding Dean Odell. This guy is a known con man, a pastor that thinks the firmament is the crust of the earth. Why? Because his mentor Bob Enyart said that. Another anti-FE. Enyart passed his pastorship to Will like a property. His true colors are coming out, and a hint of fang can be seen in his fake-ass smiling Bob routine. And he responded and said, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. If you make a video, make sure to deal with the arguments in this article, and I will definitely consider it. And it's about the firmament. I really don't give a fuck about his belief in the firmament. That's not my point. I don't think anybody knows any pastor out there that actually believes that the firmament is referring to the crust of the earth. Okay.
Right.
I'm sorry. He should have just took the L on that one and said, yeah, I know you. I think you're probably right. But he doubled down on it and he sent me this article. I didn't bother looking at it because I don't give a fuck. I know it's not the crust of the earth. And I said back to him, I says, I'm not really concerned if you consider it or not. The point is that your cover as Smiling Bob the Pastor is as transparent as glass. No one drops coin like that without something in it for themselves, for them.
Exactly.
And just settling the argument is weak ass excuse. With bases in Antarctica now since 1909, we would have a full catalog of proof for this. Secondly, simply having someone that is already there verify it with undoctored video would be even more financially prudent. Like I said, hey, you're already down there. I'll tell you what, I'll send you the equipment, give you $5,000 if you will film 24-hour time lapse. Whether it's a 24-hour sun or not, you still get the money, and hey, I'm rich. Go ahead and keep the equipment. Too,
There's a
right?
good, that is awesome. That's
right?
An awesome, heck yeah. And then, like, they should have a Facebook page, if anything.
I think they do. I think they do.
Like, that's awesome.
I think Final Experiment does have a Facebook page. He does.
I'm talking about like the actual sites in the Antarctica side.
Oh, I don't know. I said, why all of a sudden is 2024 the year that we'll decide? It's not like you're the first men on Mars or something. Personally, I don't think you're going to see a 24-hour sun, perhaps daylight, but not the sun. If for some reason this is witnessed for the first time in over 100 years, given the preponderance of evidence contrary to a globe, there is one of two things occurring. One, some fuckery is afoot, or two, there is an optical phenomenon we don't understand. I tend to lean toward the first option. You realize that none of the people you have chosen represent all the people that know Earth isn't a globe, right? And he said to me, he says, if you think a 24-hour sun is possible on a flat Earth, just explain how. The honest FEs, Justin and Austin, admit it's not possible. Well, it's them. I'm not them. I never said that it was possible. You did. Secondly, no one has documented this truthfully in over 100 years. If something is real, there is no need to falsify it ever. As I said before, if, and that's a big if, a 24-hour sun is suddenly a thing, then one of two conclusions I listed before is apparent. What's really in this for you? That's what I want to know. And why is 2024 the year?
Right.
He said,
either way, he's going to get acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying?
He says, I'm glad you agree that it's not possible, but now I need to break your heart. The 24-hour sun has been filmed and documented a ton. Well, if it has, then why are you wasting your fucking money?
Exactly.
Right?
I'm laughing.
There are more complete videos of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica than complete videos of the 24-hour sun in the Arctic on YouTube. Okay. I says, if it's been filmed a ton and there is all this concrete proof, then why bother? There wouldn't even be a question, and we would have already known for decades. You just made your position look worse with these claims and your motives even more suspect. You claimed you haven't looked much into it on Witsit, but also watched hours of FE material. You claimed you were neutral when this first started, but seem already convinced and have apparently seen tons of videos proving it. You are a walking example of contradictions. And that's all I've got, I think.
Said quite eloquently. I don't think you can refute that.
I mean, come on. And it's not anybody hating on anybody. It's just calling a fucking spade a spade, It's just, reality.
That's it. And I think that's what what citizens are getting, a hard taste of reality now, because I've had maybe 6 people in the last 5 months that have hit me back up and said, hey, I want to apologize. I do really want to sincerely apologize, Howard, for calling you a crazy.
Yeah. They're starting to go, wait a second. This guy's kind of got an inside track, man. I better start fucking befriending him. I might need the help.
They wake up and I did the same thing, so I had to apologize to somebody. I had cognitive so bad.
Yeah. A lot of people do.
I almost got in a fight over it.
How dare you take away my smart?
Right.
Yeah. That's what it is. How dare you take away my smart?
Yeah, I took offense to it, and I had fighting words. A 14-year lifelong friend, and I tell you what, I apologized to him 6 months later. It took me 6 months.
There you go.
Yeah, but
all right.
Hard-headed.
Well, this is Civil Coalition. I'm going to blow out of here and land this thing. Something Wong is getting hungry. He wants some lo mein noodles and a little weed. I think he's looking for back there. So
I'll stop in some more and say hey.
yeah, he'll be doing good. He'll be all right, man. Once he cracks that fortune cookie, he's a riot. We opened one up last night and it said, "Help, I'm being held captive in a Chinese fortune cookie factory."
Oh.
I don't know what to make about it. But anyway.
Peace.
Apparently my lucky numbers are everything but 6. So y'all have a great night out there. Just remember, as we cruise along this beautiful plane, that the 3 things you need are fish sticks, rubbers, and a getaway car, and you'll be fine. Don't trust Whitey. Lord loves a working man, and go see your doctor and get rid of his dumb ass. He's probably stupid. So he'll kill you. We'll see you next time on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Good night, everybody. Have a good day tomorrow and tonight and everything and all those pleasantries. Good night.